Obama did. We need to push them to that economic brink, to undermine their power, to undermine their ability to be able to pay the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and all these other people, so maybe they will lay down their weapons.
How much time did you spend in Pakistan? Afghanistan?
2.5 years.
And how did you ever go into Pakistan?
No, but I was at the border crossing at Spin Boldak looking over into Pakistan. I saw plenty of the Taliban bubbles walking out in the open.
So the President of the United States called out Pakistan. Reportedly, the breaking point was when we freed those people, one Canadian, one American, that couple, and they went back to Canada. We had a Haqqani network official there, that terror network, and we want to question them, and they would not let us question them, as well as allowing all these sanctuaries for the Taliban, and the Haqqani network located in Pakistan. So the president's fed up, went after them on Twitter. They responded by recalling our ambassador and basically wanted to know what we're up to and tried to rebuke them for the president's attack on them. And now we're holding off paying them over $100 million, $255 million in 2016. Say, we're not going to make that payment. We don't like the way you're acting. He said this: the United States has foolishly given Pakistan more than $33 billion over the last 15 years, but got nothing but lies and deceit in exchange. They give safe havens to the terrorists. We hunt in Afghanistan with little help, no more. And the president holds back dollars. Now, what leverage does Pakistan have? I know you like the message. Do you like the method?
No, well, in that part of the world, Brian, people only understand and respond to actions. They don't respond to rhetoric, and that's the difference between the previous administration under Barack Obama, which was a lot of talk, a lot of red lines, and nothing ever came of that. When you start to conduct actions, much the same as we saw the reduction of the budget for the United Nations, that's what gets people's attention. Pakistan has always been the haven for the Islamic jihadists. The fact that Osama bin Laden was hiding out in the town where their West Point, their military academy is, there's no way that they did not know that Osama bin Laden was there. And all of the billions of dollars that we've been shipping over to Pakistan has really been going for them to build up their military in a conflagration against India and the Kashmir instead of fighting against the terrorists that we know extend all along that border down into southern Pakistan and to Balochistan, actually. So it's time that we got tough with the Pakistanis. We don't have a Pervez Musharraf over there who was a lot more forthright in fighting against the Islamic terrorists. So we've got to send a clear message. And the way that you do it is cutting off funds and, backing up your rhetoric.
I guess so, but we know this. It's much easier to supply our troops via land through Pakistan than it is from aircraft carrier. So they do have some leverage there, correct?
Yeah, they do
and they
have some
nuclear
leverage.
weapons.
Yeah, they have nuclear weapons, and what the Pakistanis end up doing is allowing the jihadists to attack those supply chains when they want to put a little pressure on us, because that's what the ISI does over there. And so we need to not be so dependent. We need to use air corridors to get the requisite amount of supplies in there to our troops operating in Afghanistan. But we cannot allow Pakistan to believe that they have any type of means of leverage over us. And the most important thing is we need to start cutting back the aid that we have. And that is a very big concern, because the nuclear weapons technology and weapons that they have, if that ever falls into the hands of, ISIS is operating there, we know Al-Qaeda, we know the Taliban, the Haqqani network, this is the feeding ground for Islamic jihadism.
I hear you, and we also could do something else that I believe we are doing, is I go up to India and say, how would you like the contracts to rebuild the roads? How would you like to start making some bridges? How would you like, they've already offered our troops, but Pakistan says, no, if you bring in India, we're out. So why don't we just start bringing them in? But I just want them to I want them to think out the policy, Colonel. My worry is that our policy is catching up to the president's tweets. That's my worry, rather than vice versa.
No, I am absolutely with you. You cannot do policy in 140 characters or however much they've extended it. So that's why I say that the president needs to sit down with the Iranian opposition leaders. The president needs to be calling the European leaders. The president needs to be talking to India and some of these other surrounding countries, because we have to now have a national security strategy, because I think the economy is going to be going in the right direction. But what you're going to see happen in 2018 is foreign policy and national security is going to be even more important with these flashpoints we see already early in 2018.
All right, we'll see. Colonel, I hope the president this year reaches back to you and brings you in if he can afford the pay cut. He's got to start doing that.
Well, I'd be honored to serve this country. You know that. That's all in my heart. And I just want to say one thing. Shout out to my home state, Georgia Bulldogs, for pulling out a great game last night.
Was that incredible? Double overtime,
awesome.
down by 17?
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
All right. Thanks a lot, Colonel. Sounds like you were up late.
A little bit. Happy New Year, my friend.
Okay, go get him. 1-866-408-7669. When we come back, I'm going to take your calls and also get your response to the Facebook Live post that we put up this morning. We did around 7:30. Got to remind you, too, special thanks to everybody here at Fox that aired the special Andrew Jackson, Hero Under Fire. If you want to go get Andrew Jackson, The Miracle of New Orleans, it's out there. In fact, I'll be in Nashville at the Hermitage on January 8th, the anniversary of the actual battle itself. This is the Brian Kilmeade Show. Wouldn't it be great to have all the energy you want all day long? Unfortunately, fatigue gets in the way, even for everyday activities, and it seems to get worse every year, right? Here's why. When you're 20, your body has a natural ability to maintain healthy circulation. But by age 40, that ability decreases by half, and that leaves you feeling tired. So, what can you do to increase the youthful, natural circulation and fight fatigue? Drink Super Beets. That's why. Super Beets promotes the body's own natural ability to produce healthier circulation for increased energy and stamina all day long. Only Super Beets is made from beets grown to exacting standards that's concentrated into superfood crystals. So, if you want to increase your own natural energy, call 800-541-2516 or go to bryant'sbeets.com. With your first order, you get another 30-day supply of free Super Beets. Yup, Super Beets for free, plus indicator strips to see how Super Beets is working for you and in your body. And free shipping. Call 800-541-2516 or go to bryant'sbeets.com today.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who have agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-545-0785. That's 1-800-545-0785. Again, 1-800-545-0785.
Traffic reports at your fingertips. Real-time traffic online. Log on to 971talk.com for real-time traffic updates.
Brought to you by Deck and Patio Living. Make your backyard dreams come true. Call 890-2222.
Hey guys, Glover here for the All Financial Group. Do me a favor, forget everything you're hearing about Washington and tax reform, because the only thing that matters is your personal tax reform. Steve All of the All Financial Group has been telling his clients this for years. Something else you may not know is that your taxes don't automatically or necessarily go down just because you retire. In fact, some retirees actually pay higher taxes because of the way they've structured their income. But if you've saved well for retirement, there are some steps that you can take take right now to minimize the amount you'll have to hand over to the IRS. Steve can get you started with your own personal tax reform strategy for retirement. Give him a call at 636-230-8824 for a complimentary tax strategy session. Again, that's 636-230-8824 or sign up online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
The All Financial Group is a financial services firm that offers a broad array of products and services, including life insurance and annuities. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids, healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate, donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Hey, St. Louis, it's Brian Kilmeade.
This hour Kilmeade brought to you by RP Lumber. Best service, best value.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Right after Kilmeade, it's the Mark Cox Show, noon to 3 on FM News Talk 97.1.
We're now seeing a more explosiveness. I mean, of the last 6 midterm elections, either the House or the Senate or both have flipped in 4 out of the last 6.
That hadn't happened in 100 years.
Yeah. No, I mean, if and so it's people are voting. It's not more parliamentary, but it's more bi-party, and we're seeing big explosive results, and that's got to be scary for a Republican.
It is. It's scary for Republicans. Like they said, the thing that I thought was most learned from, I watch all the Sunday shows. I watched them last night. So I know most of you are in a brand new schedule. You probably, if you did watch Sunday shows, you may have missed it. If you listen to the radio show during the week, maybe when you're at work or vice versa, your schedule for the most part was different last week. So I was just stunned by seeing some people look forward, mostly say, the trend is away from Republicans. However, if the economy is going strong and it's hitting people on all different levels, if regulation is going away, if tax reform is going to be felt in the bigger states, was not going to be, loved. I went and paid off my taxes early this year, the school taxes early in response to this, so I could still write it off for 2018. So most people are going to feel good about this tax cut. The weird thing is, it's President Trump. Either you absolutely love him or absolutely hate him. And I think President Trump's goal should be harder to dislike. Be harder to dislike. And the best thing he could do for that is to start cutting deals. And if you have some Republicans, even if it's Buddy, Mark Meadows, or Freedom Caucus guys, women standing up saying, I'm upset we cut this deal on immigration. I'm upset we cut this deal on infrastructure. I'm upset we had to bust the caps. Now, I'm not big on spending cap busting, but I do know we got to fund the defense budget, and there's going to be a pushback on that from Democrats to fund other things. If you go and do the Lamar Alexander, Patty Murray deal, which seems shaky at best, but is a bipartisan compromise, if you do 3 or 4 of them, at the same time, internationally, we have a lot of strength. We're making progress on North Korea. Make it harder to hit you, is my advice to the president. Don't put your chin out every single day, and don't make it hard for moderates to like you. The people that like you, and I think the best analogy I ever heard was, for example, if you are a fan of Alabama, Auburn, Mets, Falcons, whatever, when that team is down, when that team is up, you're with them through thick and thin. That was what this president has. He's got fans. He doesn't just have voters. He's got people that identify with him in a way that no other politician in my lifetime have. However, moderates, they do switch back and forth. They aren't dug in. And the liberals are the other direction. Here's Caddy K on the possible cockiness on the left on Meet the Press, Cut 6.
We came out of Alabama with Democrats saying, look, we can win in true red states. We've just done it in Alabama. Of people, exactly those people you chose, North Dakota, Missouri, West Virginia, they took some heart from that. But they have very different populations. They do not have 30% African American makeup in those states. They know that. Yeah. So they have to be more careful about how they run. They can't expect to run up against a Roy Moore again. That's just not going to happen.
And that would be, for them, trouble. For Charlie Cook, he has advice for the Democrats. Impeachment is stupid. Cut 4.
This is so implausible. I mean, if Democrats won every single Senate race next year, every single one of them, they would still need 10 Republicans to vote for impeachment. And that's not going to happen. And so why just shut up?
Exactly. Play the game. Don't yell about the conditions or the ref. Allison, we did that Facebook post this morning. Any comments, basically previewing the entire show?
Yeah, so Vi said that she wishes that Susan Rice and Samantha Powers would just be quiet. They are both irrelevant. And Brenda then says that she gets so mad that Democrats want to link funding to our country going against illegals to be given amnesty. That is a completely different subject, and the American citizens should not be held as ransom for illegals.
Absolutely. That's very good point. BrianKilmeadshow.com is a place to order the podcast. You get the first hour free. BrianKilmead.com, where you can sign up for our mailing list to find out what's going on and where. It's called Kill Me Condensed. It recaps every show, including sound bites like this one. So sign up today. And if you want Andrew Jackson signed, personalized, go to BrianKilmead.com. All the information's there. Keep it here, everyone. 2018. Great year. Hey, did you know you can sell your life insurance policy? Yeah, the one in your top drawer for cash. Turns out people have been selling their unneeded life insurance policies for the last 15 years. I know. Where have I been? If you have $100,000 more of life insurance, you may be eligible to sell all or part of your policy. You may even be able to sell that term life policy. So with Coventry Direct, you can receive an immediate cash payment by selling your life insurance policy. It's called the life settlement. The cash you receive from selling that policy can pay your medical bills, maybe pay off your mortgage, supplement your retirement. Hey, whatever you choose. Hey, medical expenses have increased. Premiums no longer affordable. But the good news is you have the choice to sell. Find out if you qualify by calling Coventry Direct at 800-406-0700 to speak to a policy specialist, or visit CoventryDirect.com. That's 800-406-0700 or CoventryDirect.com. Coventry Direct can help you find the cash you need when you need it most. And maybe 2018 is when you need it most. 800-406-0700, Coventry Direct, CoventryDirect.com.
40 years of savings, 40 holidays, 40 block parties, 40 barbecues, banquets, and blowouts. For 40 years, we've saved you a lot. From a lot of hassles and a lot of gimmicks. Because saving is easy when saving is simple. So how much can you save in 40 years? It's right there on the sign. Save a lot. Savings made easy for 40 years.
Save big just by switching to our private label products. That's right, it's that easy. Switch to Save-A-Lot brands and save a whole lot every time you shop.
Hi, this is Curtis Stone. You name a dish, and I've prepared it thousands of times. But even I can't cook enough to feed all of the 17 million kids in America who are struggling with hunger. That's where the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks comes in. They gather surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families. We call them food angels, and you can be one too. Earn your wings at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by Window World.
FM News Talk 97.1.
New year, familiar debate on Capitol Hill. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump challenging Democrats to work out an agreement for the so-called Dreamers. Fox's John Decker, live at the White House.
The president putting pressure on Democrats to work out a deal for the DACA program affecting approximately 800,000 immigrants who were brought illegally to the country as children. On Twitter, he wrote, Democrats are doing nothing for DACA, just interested in politics. DACA activists and Hispanics will go hard against Dems, will start falling in love with Republicans and their president. We are about results. The president wants border wall funding included as part of any any package that would provide a legislative solution for DACA recipients. Should there be no legislative fix, thousands of so-called dreamers could face deportation. Lisa?
Thanks, John. The Trump administration now urging Iran to unblock Instagram and other social media services, which were taken down after showing images and videos of protests against the regime. It's day 6 of demonstrations in Iran. Fox's Connor Powell monitoring this from the Mideast Bureau.
It's been the more traditional conservative base of the Islamic Republic that have been taking to the streets, not the urban elite of Tehran that we saw back in 2009. The central complaint appears to be the economic situation in Iran and the widespread corruption there. In some places, women have ripped off their headscarves as well, and there have been calls to end the Islamic Republic. A crackdown there also seems to be intensifying. Iran state media reporting that hundreds of people have been arrested and at least 20 people have been killed.
President Trump tweeting support for the Iranian people and criticizing President Obama again over the Iran nuclear deal, suggesting money from lifted sanctions went to terrorism and the regime's pockets. A positive start to the new year so far on Wall Street. Right now, the Dow is up 44 points. Fox News, fair and balanced.
2018 is an opportunity to grow your business with top talent. But how do you find it? ZipRecruiter. One click posts your job to over 100 job boards. Then, smart matching technology instantly alerts quality candidates about your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals, go to Abraham.com/50shades. 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 No opt-in required. Sells absolutely nothing. Gives away over 800 hours of priceless strategic marketing and business growth expertise. Videos, audios, full-length best-selling books, interviews of legendary business icons. Abraham.com/50shades. Abraham.com/50shades.
97.1 News Time, 12:03. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Church. It looks as though a man whose body was found in a trash bin on Monday afternoon froze to death. Police say the 54-year-old man was found dead at about 12:45 p.m. near the St. Louis Brewery Apartments. The man, whom they will not identify until his next of kin is notified, was known as a homeless man in the area. A neighborhood in South St. Louis County is covered with ice and snow after a water main break overnight. The break happened in the 2400 block of Smizer Mill Estates Drive. It took crews over 3 hours to shut the water off. The 43rd annual New Year's Day Polar Bear Ski event was held despite the frigid temperatures and chunks of ice in the waters of the Mississippi. The charity event in front of the Gateway Arch benefits an organization dedicated to improving the physical condition and quality of life for people with disabilities through sports. Most spectators watched the action from their cars through a group of roughly a dozen people brave the cold. This news update brought to you by STL FenceWorks, where your satisfaction is our passion.
Is your family ready for a bad cold and flu season? Knowing when it's the flu can make a big difference. The best way to tell is that the flu brings a fever, so be prepared with a thermometer you can trust. The Exergen Temporal Scanner, backed by more than 70 clinical studies.
If you have retirement questions, you can bet Marvin Mitchell probably has the answer. Join him every Sunday afternoon at 1 for Rethinking Retirement. With his years of experience, Marvin can help take the guesswork out of your retirement planning. Rethinking Retirement is your source for all things retirement, from how current events can affect your savings to strategies to maximize your retirement income and everything in between. Don't miss Rethinking Retirement with Marvin Mitchell every Sunday afternoon at 1 on FM News Talk 97.1.
Hey guys, I'm Dr. TJ Williams from the Institute of Natural Health. I would like to invite you to tune in to our show, Wellness 101, Sundays at 3 p.m. During this exciting hour, we will be diving into the health topics that you want to know about. We will be talking about your concerns and giving real-life examples of ways people can heal and the transformations we have seen with our clients. So tune in to Wellness 101, Sundays at 3, where we will cut through the nonsense to provide you common sense, science-based strategies for a healthy life. That's Wellness 101, Sundays at 3, And you can find us online at theinstituteofnaturalhealth.com.
Hey, Tim Jones here for Universal Windows Direct. It's the season of giving, but that doesn't mean you should be heating the outside more than the inside of your home. You do not have to suffer through one more winter in a cold and drafty home. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Universal Windows are specifically made to perform in our unpredictable climate. They have this cool aerospace technology, Super Spacer, keeps the edge of the glass warmer, holds the window seal longer, and helps the windows last up to 5 times longer than windows without it. You get the best windows for your home within your budget. They perform better. They last longer. Plus, they back it up with a true lifetime warranty for as long as you own your home and 30 years to the next homeowner. It's not too late to make sure you're comfortable this winter, and Universal Windows Direct is making it easy with this great offer. For every window you buy, the next window is free. No limits, 0% financing for 36 months, plus free installation. Call to schedule your free in-home estimate today, 314-878-0300, 314-878-0300, or go to universalwindowsstlouis.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. With fixed rates in the 3s, we have some of the lowest mortgage rates in town. But what I want to talk to you about is how we can help you eliminate PMI. If you know what that is, you know you don't want it. So have us eliminate PMI from your current loan. Or, if you're buying a home, we can help you avoid PMI in your payment altogether. A great rate and no PMI is possible. Call me, Michael Mohan, at 314-336-6050. Because we are local, we know St. Louis. But most importantly, we will take the time to get to know you. Call us for straightforward answers to all your mortgage needs. Already working with a lender on your refinance or purchase? Bring me the quote, and chances are we will beat it. The phone call is free, but the savings could be life-changing. 314-336-6050. That's 314-336-6050. Online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, APRs in the 3s. NMLS 250353 224143.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Naputi Wellness. NaputiWellnessCenter.com.
The Mark Cox Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is...
The Mark Cox Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
Listen to both sides.
This,
let's get it on,
is the Mark Cox Show.
So we're going to have a great 2018. It's going to be something very, very special. It's all kicking in. We have some pretty good enemies out there, but step by step, they're being defeated. There's some bad people. Bad people, but that's okay. Someday, maybe they'll love us. I don't know. But you know what they're going to love? Everybody's going to love is what's happening with our country.
All right, there's a part of the president's New Year's Eve message. Doesn't matter what he says or when he says it, the media plays it as controversial. And that's just what the world we live in. Happy New Year to all of you. Welcome into the Mark Cox Show, circa 2018. How about that? Here we are. Hopefully you had a good New Year's Eve, a safe New Year's Eve. I can't believe how flippin' cold it is outside. Can't seem to keep my house warm. There are obviously cracks in it that I was unaware of that I've been around trying to seal up around the place. Hopefully you don't have any pipes that have burst, because down here at FM News Talk 97.1 in the bathroom just down the hall, well, it's out of commission because apparently we don't have a heater in there and one of the pipes broke.
Yeah.
So we're out of luck.
Yeah. So we have to
take
a longer trip.
If I'm off the air for an extended period of time, it's because I've had to go to the other side of the building, just so you know. So happy 2018. Let me get Liz and the church here on mic and find out what your 2018 resolutions are. Jason, you first.
Well, my 2018 resolutions are kind of vague at this point, but so some weight loss, the usual stuff that people are looking at. But one of the specifics is that I plan on putting together a little bit more elaborate version of the jazz show that I do every Saturday night. It's going to be expanded a little bit, so I think that's going to be fun. But yeah, the weight loss, no more drinking, whatever.
No more drinking.
Yeah.
Is that one of them?
Well, it goes along with the weight loss.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, I understand. Which explains why you were still up at 6 a.m. on New Year's Day.
That would be correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Because you were trying to milk as much as you could out of 2017.
You got that right.
Before this stuff kicked in.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that. How about you, Liz?
I don't make resolutions. I set goals.
Well, good. What's your goal? Okay,
is
good,
to have
good.
less sugar in my diet. That's about the only goal I have.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
Just eating healthier type thing.
That's what we could all do well with that.
Yeah.
Well, Liz, that was anticlimactic.
You're welcome.
I'm with you. I'm not real big on the whole resolution thing because I know that the gyms get super crowded this time of year, and by the end of the month they won't be anymore because those things tend to go away. But I'm going to make the same promise to myself that I made a year ago, and that's that I need to lose the same 30 pounds that I've lost and found several times over my lifetime. So that's kind of the goal for the year, is to try to figure out a way to do that. But I fear that church might be onto something, but I don't really want to face that yet.
Cutting down sugar will help.
You mentioned gyms. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
No,
I don't gym.
Seriously, believe it or not, this year is my 20-year high school reunion, and that's my goal is to drop some weight before then. So we'll see what happens.
Good for you,
yeah,
youngster. That's good. Glad to hear that. So hopefully everybody else has had time to reflect on 2017 and look ahead to 2018. I think, quite frankly, that 2018 is going to be a fantastic year for Republicans. And I find it pretty interesting because if you listen anywhere in the mainstream media over the course of this weekend, everybody's laser focused on the fact that it's an off election year. The Republicans are in the White House, which means that the fall election is going to be an anti-Trump vote. And I couldn't disagree more at this point. Of course, on January 2nd, if you're a political observer or analyst, you get a free pass. It's like a day pass, right? When the spouse gives you a day pass, this is the day when you can look ahead and you can speculate, and nobody's going to hold you to it. But I think that in a combination with this tax reform plan, the Republicans are going to, in basking in the success of that plan, I think moving forward they have the momentum to get some things done. Are they going to get DACA done? I don't know. We had Congresswoman Ann Wagner in here last week. We had her on the air, and she's promising that DACA doesn't happen without some give and take by the Democrats on funding the wall. Go to cut number 4 for me, Liz. Kellyanne Conway making this point this morning.
A lot of bipartisan talk, and a president who always had that olive branch extended, had them at the White House, had them on the phone, went up to Capitol Hill, and certainly listened to their concerns. He's made very clear that there is no deal on DACA unless the wall is built, unless there is funding for the wall. He's made this very clear.
Thank you. And it's something that we need to keep the pressure on them about, because as March gets closer, as this deadline for the ending of DACA, which has been extended again, gets closer in March, they'll be talking about, people dying in the streets because DACA hasn't passed. That'll be the Democratic talking point. Michelle Malkin, who we've had as a guest on this program a few times, it feels the same way about this that I do. Go to cut number 14 for me, please, Liz.
Absolutely supports everything this president is doing to put immigration enforcement and border security first. Period. We've got this clamor for a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure deal. Right now, President Trump, until the end of his first term, has one infrastructure priority: the wall. The wall, the wall.
Amen, Michelle Malkin. That's the infrastructure bill that I want to see first, is the spending on the concrete and the mortar or whatever it's going to take to build the wall. Let's talk about that first and get it out of the way. Because if we can get that settled as part of some deal on letting these dreamer kids stay in the country, minus the extension of those rights to their family members, it opens up things for budget negotiations. And that's kind of where we need to go, right? We need to start having serious discussions about cutting this and cutting that. And that's not going to happen if the budget deal is cluttered with discussions about building the wall, because the Democrats will use that as the only excuse they need to stall a new federal budget. But they're not going to do that with DACA. That's something that's important to them. And that's something they're going to fight for tooth and nail, and they're going to realize they have to negotiate on it a little bit if they want to get it done. Bear something in mind. If you put any credibility in polling at all, and every politician I know licks their finger and sticks it up in the air to see which way the wind's blowing, find me the polling that shows the Dreamers Act in the top 10 of any voter's wish list. It's not. It's a really low priority for the country, but it's a very high priority for Democrats. So the Republicans have got to take advantage of that and try to leverage that just a little bit. Liz, let's go ahead and get to the short list, please.
The short list brought to you by Bill Thomas Camper Sales. Find your camper at btcamper.com.
I'm not sure that the Papadopoulos explanation is really any better. In fact, it's probably thinner than even the dossier. Just some guy at a bar drinking.
When we moved to cut taxes, the Democrats just walked away from the table because they didn't want people to get more of their hard-earned money.
If anybody can tell me what the Democratic Party stands for, I'm listening.
Thank you, Kellyanne Conway. That's the truth. Speaking of which, did you see one socialist swearing in another one this weekend? This happened yesterday, apparently, up in New York.
Please raise your right hand. State your name.
I, Bill de Blasio,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the State of New York
that I will support the Constitution of the State of New York
and the Charter of the City of New York.
and the Charter of the City of New York.
So these two, he had his favorite socialist senator come in and swear in the socialist mayor of New York City. How does that happen? What kind of a vacuum do the people in New York City live in? Except that the majority of them are limousine liberals who make ridiculous decisions like this. It's amazing to me that they've reelected this guy, but they have. So that's one of my big surprises for 2017, was that this guy got reelected. You want to know what the other one was? Did you watch CNN at all on New Year's Eve, Liz? Did you even flip over to it even once?
I actually did.
Did you see the video of the CNN reporter showing you how to smoke pot in California?
I thought, no, in Colorado. Wasn't it?
No.
I saw the one in Colorado where they were painting and whatnot, and they were passing around stuff, but I didn't see the one in California.
On January 1st, California's new legalized pot law took effect. And CNN had a reporter up there holding one of those bongs that has a gas mask on the end of it. And she's trying it on. It was filled with pot. It wasn't lit, apparently.
Right.
Then she handed it back to the owner, and she lit it for him. So she wasn't smoking pot on the air, so to speak.
Right.
But
same with Colorado.
Jeez.
Like
this was the celebration in California. Listen.
A day to celebrate as the first dozen recreational marijuana outlets opened for business in Sacramento.
Yeah, so we're going to let 19 people in at a time.
It was touch and go for retailers, all of whom dispensed medical marijuana before and will continue to do so.
We just got our state permit at 7 p.m. last night, so, this was down to the very last minute for us.
Just in time for Michael Lynch to buy some pot as a housewarming gift for a friend.
Oh, it feels real good. It's about time.
The concerns over the social, criminal, and medical risk with legalized pot are not issues among the converted. Some say moderation is the watchword.
I personally just like it at night, so I'm not going to be doing anything stupid with it, but people should be smart and just, smoke it at home.
Is that a house warming gift, or is it like a house stinking gift?
House warming. They're warming it. I don't know.
The only sign of intelligence I saw from that report was an interview with the public safety director for the state of California, basically warning people that we're going to see traffic accidents skyrocket. We know what's about to happen because the same thing happened in Colorado. And there's not a darn thing she can do about it because now it's state law. So there you have it. One more reason to stay away from the state of California, as far as I'm concerned. All right, going to get to a quick break. 314-969-9797. The phone number's down here. Tell me your thoughts on 2018, kind of what you're expecting. I'm going to get my friend Chris Arps is going to join us in here because it's Tuesday, and he's normally in here on Tuesdays. It seems like a Monday, but these weird holidays fall on a Monday. It's kind of strange. So we'll get Chris Arps talking about that. A little later in the next hour, we're going to talk to Jonathan Hunt, the Fox News channel, and we're hoping to talk to him about some of the new laws that are taking effect around the country in addition to the dope smokers out in California. And then we're going to talk to Kylie McEnany. We've had her on here before. I think she's the one from Kansas City originally, taking a look at what some of the legislative priorities will be for the Republicans in 2018. That's coming up in the next hour. You're listening to The Mark Cox Show.
3-6-2-4-3-6.
Mark Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com. Dependable weather.
Clouds take control today. Chance of a couple of spotty
with Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray.
Brought to you by Air Comfort Service. No heat, furnace acting up, high utility bills? Get 0% financing on a new furnace. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
All right, so start 2018 out on the right foot by going to a new dentist this year. Let me recommend Dr. Michael White at Sunset Hills Dentist down off of Lindbergh and 44 there in Sunset Hills. First of all, everybody worries about cost. Beginning of the year, you got deductibles, you got all that stuff. Here's what Dr. Michael White's going to do for you. Same deal he's had for you last year. If you set up an initial visit with Dr. Michael White, they're going to give you that consultation. They're going to give you that exam. They're going to give you any necessary x-rays you may need to see what's going on in your mouth for $1. Just $1. 314-270-8552. Again, 314-270-8552. Go to Dr. White. You'll see what I'm talking about with the fact that it's a different kind of dentist office. They do things in the exam that you don't get elsewhere. Besides the oral cancer screenings and checking for sleep apnea and all that stuff and checking the bacteria levels in your mouth, you're going to appreciate it as much as I do. Again, 314-270-8552 or go to the website at sunsethills.dentist.
Hey, St. Louis, looking a little scruffy? It's time to get cleaned up at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in O'Fallon on Highway K just north of Fisey Road next to Potbelly Subs, or in Brentwood on Hanley Road just south of Highway 40 in front of Menards. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
The Financial Symphony is a show that blends the worlds of music and finance together in one harmonious package. It features your local financial maestro, Jerry Means.
A lot of advisors out there are mainly giving accumulation advice or looking at the growth through your working years. You really need to take a look at, is your advisor giving you advice on preservation and distribution?
That's The Financial Symphony with Jerry Means, Sunday mornings at 9 on FM News Talk 97.1.
Ameren, Missouri is proud to light the way in the communities we serve. And not just through the street lamps dotting our neighborhoods, but also by helping educate the next generation about the wonders of science and technology, providing a helping hand to those in need, and exploring innovative energy solutions so that tomorrow is a little cleaner than today. Transforming the future of our community by lighting the way. That's energy at work. Learn more at amerenmissouri.com/community.
Hey guys, Glover and Close here for Dave Young, our good friend at the Sound Room. Mark has known him for decades. I've been buying stuff from him for probably the better part of 20 years now. And it's a lie that the competitors will tell you that you have to be a millionaire to shop at the Sound Room. Any price from a real store, even online, they're going to meet it. Sometimes they'll even be able to beat it because they have great buying power and amazing advice for no more money.
They have brought back this great promotion. Your old receiver is now worth $200 trade-in, right? Trade in any old receiver, dead or alive, doesn't have to be working. You get $200 trade-in towards the purchase of any new home theater receiver from Integra, one of the best names in the business. The Sound Room, located in Chesterfield Valley, right next to Amini's. Keep in mind, the same price with better advice. That's what you'll get at the Sound Room. The trade-in deal goes for a limited time, so make sure you check it out. To get all the information you need, please go to thesoundroom.com.
Fox on Tech.
Hacker attacks have been blamed for cybersecurity meltdowns, ranging from the ID theft breach at Equifax to the leaking of unaired movies and shows. And yet, when it comes to password security, some people still using easy-to-guess words, like in the 1987 sci-fi spoof Spaceballs.
What's the combination? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, that's amazing. I've got the same combination on my luggage.
Now, 30 years later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tops the list of worst passwords, according to security company Splash Data, which bases its list on millions of leaked passwords. Another variation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, also popular. The password. Star Wars is number 16, and Game of Thrones fans, Dragon is 18. Experts suggest instead of using super complex passwords, use a phrase, then tweak it with numbers and symbols, or use a two-factor authentication. With Fox on Tech, I'm Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Harvey Weinstein.
These stories coming to light now.
The hypocrisy reeks.
My husband.
Bill Clinton.
Grabbing, groping, touching.
Bill Clinton raped you.
Yes. Sean Hannity.
What nonsense.
Weeknights
7 to 9.
Now think about that.
On FM News Talk 97.1. Listening to The Mark Cox Show. Find everything Mark Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
And I think President Trump is exactly right to be pushing hard, to be publicly condemning the dictatorship. I think you're seeing the dictatorship once again, this will be the fourth time now, being delegitimized. At one point in the late 1980s, they actually killed 30,000 people to try to establish their control of the country.
Yeah, you know what? So the president comes out, he tweets support for these protesters in Iran, talks about what a rotten deal the Iranian deal was that Obama did. It's more and more obvious that the Obama administration was willing to do anything and overlook any transgression by Iran just for the name of legacy building. That's why that deal was struck. And now you've got protesters in the street, and you finally got a president who's willing to come out and say the truth. And it's the same thing. Same thing goes with what's going on in Pakistan and all the grief the president's taking. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. First, let's get to our guest, please.
Who is the man that would risk his neck for his brother, man? Shout
Can you dig it?
Happy New Year.
Well, I
Chris
have no
Arts.
headphones, so I just got to try to act like I can hear.
That you can hear everything.
The music. Yeah.
I understand.
You hit that shaft right on the dot.
You did.
I
Very
can kind of
good.
hear it. I've heard it like 17,000 times every Tuesday.
That's because the rest of us are deaf and our headphones are up so loud.
Exactly.
Probably heard it bleeding through. What, Jason Church? Why don't you let him borrow your headphones so he can hear what's going on here? That's a good thing.
Plus, I'm a little discombobulated. When I came in, I was helping mop up the water from the
bathroom, from the men's room.
from
Yeah,
the-
we're trying to enlist everybody we can today to fix that little problem.
Yeah.
It's just out of commission, I think.
Frozen pipes.
Frozen
We'll-
pipes.
we'll do that.
A lot of people having that. I noticed on 18th Street out here as I was driving in this morning, water bubbling up out of the ground. One of those old water pipes in the city that broke.
I'm sure those
It's gotta
pipes
be
are
happening.
100 years old.
It's got to be happening everywhere. Infrastructure. We got to work on that infrastructure, right?
Build America bonds. My ex-boss, Senator Jim Talent, that was one of his signature issues. Build America bonds. Just like war bonds, we used to buy those to finance the war. Let's use that same concept to rebuild infrastructure. I like it.
I don't disagree with that idea, but that was back when you could get a Build America bond and you could get 6 or 7% interest. And now you're lucky you have to pay a premium for the most part to get a bond that even pays 3%. So I don't know if that's the answer to it. It might be part of the answer. If this economy takes off, interest rates are going to go back up a little bit just to hedge inflation. And at that point, maybe that's a little more viable.
I think you play to people's patriotism. You say, hey, you're not going to get 6-7%, but you can get a pretty decent return, and we can fix our infrastructure.
The difficulty from the perspective of a former financial advisor.
Oh, you're going to go there with me.
Well, I'm just telling you, is you can't argue to someone unless they're, in retirement, that they ought to be getting 3% when you've got an economy. This market's probably returned 25 or 30% over the last 4 or 5 years, depending on how aggressively you were invested.
Maybe a grandparent. How you buy savings bonds for your grandchildren so they can cash them in 20 or 30 years. Maybe a far-sighted grandparent could say, hey, I'm going to buy Build America bonds for my little grandchild because I want them to be in America where the roads and bridges aren't falling apart.
So what's your thought on legislative priorities? We're gonna talk to Kyla McEnany coming up in the next hour about where she sees things from the Republican Party perspective. But I like what Michelle Malkin said earlier, that the only infrastructure deal I'm really worried about right now is the infrastructure of the wall along the southern border, and that before any DACA deal gets done, that needs to be part of the deal.
Well, Democrats, that's their holy grail, that they're not going to fund a border wall. One thing that I was thinking about, remember during December when DACA was hot and they were saying the Democrats were going to use that to shut down the government, and then around that same time that verdict came out, the Kaylee, what's her name, in California that was killed by the immigrant.
Right.
You ever notice how when that verdict came out, all of that resistance by the Democrats went down, and I think they saw it as like, look, it's going to be very hard to argue for immigrants after this verdict came out.
He gets sentenced this week. Yeah. So in California, the crazy liberals in San Francisco couldn't find their way to convict the guy of murder. However, there's something even more horrible, apparently, to Californians, and that's somebody illegally owning a gun. So they did convict him of a felon in possession of a weapon, but they couldn't bring themselves to convict him of murdering that girl, which he did. And he's going to be sentenced sometime near the end of this week. So that's still going to be in the news cycle.
Yeah, that's going to be continually played out with this whole DACA thing. And it's going to be an interesting dynamic to watch because Trump is going to bring that up, the criminals and all that, and are they going to be able to still push for this, knowing that he's saying we got to put this wall up to stop criminals?
Yeah, well, supposedly they've made it clear. So even MSNBC, and I thought I pulled this bite, and maybe I didn't. MSNBC is reporting, or one of the NBC News reporters is reporting that a deal has been struck on DACA tentatively. And I don't know how if that's true. And you always have to question it if NBC's reporting it, but maybe they're just reporting it to put pressure on the White House. If that's true, why would Kellyanne Conway been going out this weekend and saying that there's no deal on DACA unless the wall is built? I mean,
He's negotiating. I mean, Trump has said, I'm not going to let DACA go by without building a wall. I don't see him relenting on that. And that's a huge campaign promise. And we're in an election year, even though he's not up for election. And to break that promise would hurt a whole bunch of Republicans down the line on the ticket. So I don't see him relenting on that. I think it's just they're negotiating ploy.
Do you think we see a different Donald Trump this year? Now, I understand that he started out 2018 by firing on Pakistan. Yeah. But do you think we see a tamed down version of Trump because of how important the fall election is going to be? No?
Because, first of all, Donald Trump is all about Donald Trump. And second, his behavior has been successful for him so far. It hasn't hurt him, so, why stop? And remember, we thought that during the campaign. Now that you've got the nomination, are you going to moderate, your behavior? And he didn't, so... Donald Trump's a 70-year-old man. He doesn't change.
No, I would agree with that. That he's not. That we're not going to see a dramatic difference. I just wondered, even toning down the Twitter rhetoric a little bit. Yeah. But so he fires on Pakistan. I mentioned this earlier. Mm-hmm. You've got the protests going on in Iran, and if you don't really know what that's all about, we can talk about it a little bit. But he's upset with Pakistan because, as you rightly pointed out earlier, they effectively harbored Osama bin Laden about 3 blocks from their military equivalent of West Point, right?
Yeah.
So wink, wink, nod, nod. They didn't know he was there, but he's in a compound. We finally find him. We go in and we get the guy. So Trump is simply verbalizing what other Americans and presidents and in some cases ambassadors have felt for a long time. And this is what I thought was interesting about this. They went to the former ambassador from Pakistan to the United States, right? Mm-hmm. And they asked him what he thought about the president's attack, for lack of a better term, on Pakistan. Listen to the guy's answer.
President Trump has said something without mincing words that has been said before. Several American officials have expressed the view that the U.S.-Pakistan relationship is not based on a shared interest. It's a transactional relationship. Pakistan has done certain things for the U.S. throughout history, going back all the way to the 1950s during the Cold War. But Pakistan's primary interest in foreign policy has always been what Pakistani leaders think is containment of India. And that has not been America's interest. And in the last 16 years in Afghanistan, things have really fallen apart. American soldiers have been killed in Afghanistan, and Americans believe that that is because of Pakistani support for the Taliban. So what President Trump has said is unusual in the sense that the President of the United States is saying it without mincing words, but what he has said is not something without basis, and it is certainly not something that has not been said or thought before.
That guy's name is Hussein Haqqani. He's the former Pakistan ambassador to the United States. Mm-hmm. He's not the former U.S. ambassador to Pakistan. He's the former Pakistani ambassador to the United States, and he said he's right.
Yeah, I agree with him, but anytime in those type of situations, especially countries like that can be volatile, I'd like to know exactly, did this guy fall out with the government? Why is he why is he saying all of these things now? Because I may agree with it, but I also want to know, does this person have an agenda as well? With
the interesting thing about it is that he said that on CNN. Mm. He didn't go on some network somebody might say is pro-Trump and make those comments. The reporter on CNN was stunned. Yeah. She couldn't believe what he was asking. What his answer was. You mean you agree with what President Trump tweeted? And the guy's like, they've been doing things not in America's interest for a long time. And Donald Trump is America first.
And the guy hit it right on the head, and I was going to talk about that. We have leverage in terms of the whole India and the Pakistan relationship. The last thing Pakistan wants is for us to get closer to India because that's their mortal enemy.
Sure. Yeah, very true. That's Chris Arps. I'm Mark Cox, 314-969-9797. We will get to more of your phone calls coming up here in just a couple minutes. We'll talk about some of the accomplishments of the president in 2017, what some of the goals are for 2018, and that election that's coming up in November. Is that going to turn the tide? Does the House or the Senate, either one, switch over? I'm going to pick Chris's brain on that and get to your phone calls right after this.
This is the Mark Cox Show. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Plenty of sunshine on this back-to-work Tuesday. The holiday is over, but the cold continues. 16 for the high tonight. Partly cloudy skies, very cold, but not as cold. 10 degrees Wednesday. Plenty of sunshine and 22. Keep this cold pumping into Saturday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
Well, don't let 2018 go by without making sure that your company is protected. ThrottleNet is a different kind of IT company. People, I think in large part, except for the last couple of years, a lot of companies have depended on part-time work to get their IT work done. The folks at ThrottleNet will tell you that they've seen plenty of situations where businesses have shut down, where they've been sued out of business because important information has been stolen or hacked by somebody outside. Don't put yourself in that situation. It's easy to avoid. The great thing about ThrottleNet is they work on your terms. They don't tie you into some long-term deal. If you don't like the quality of their work, you walk away. And everybody enjoys that freedom. We talk about that a lot on this program. Everybody likes the freedom to buy whatever goods and products that, suit them, as opposed to being tied into some long-term contract. ThrottleNet will do that for you. They'll monitor you 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You can't beat it. 866-826-5966 is the phone number. That's 866-826-5966, or go to their website at throttlenet.com. Mark Cox here, inviting you to join me along with Mark Close and Thomas Helbig for the Protecting Your Retirement educational event Tuesday, January 30th. We'll meet at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Call 855-755-1555 to reserve your seats. Here's Thomas with more.
Will you be able to retire on time and maintain the same lifestyle as you are now? Are you truly diversified or just think you are? Do you know how to structure reliable, consistent income in retirement that you'll never outlive? Do you also know the best strategy to protect your assets in volatile times and help maximize the legacy you leave your heirs? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 or older, you don't want to miss the special event. See you Tuesday, January 30th at 6:30 p.m. at the Frontenac Hilton.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisor of my show, Thomas Helbig, along with me and Mark Close at the Frontenac Hilton, Tuesday, January 30th at 6:30. Call 855-755-1555 or visit retirementkey.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jay Omis with Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles. As a dentist with over 25 years of experience in orthodontics, I've been excited to be an exclusive provider of the innovative Fast Braces and Fast Braces Turbo orthodontic systems for the past several years. With Fast Braces, I've seen amazing results with my patients having their teeth straightened in half the time at almost half the cost of what regular braces or clear aligners cost today. Fast Braces is a comprehensive non-extraction orthodontic system that creates a fuller smile, enhanced oral airway, better bite, and a stable long-term result, requiring minimal retainer wear. Fast Braces is also safe for children and adults of all ages. Got an important event coming up soon, or just want to have straighter teeth and a terrific smile? Let us show you how we can make that a reality by visiting FastBracesSt.Charles.com for your complimentary consultation.
Dr. Omas practices general dentistry and is both an advanced Fast Braces and Fast Braces Turbo instructor and the first dentist in St. Charles County to be awarded the prestigious Senior Master Provider status, designating him as an expert in Fast Braces technology.
Jamie Ullman. Ullman in the morning.
Randy Tobler here. Jamie and the whole team are back. Tune in with me as we listen to more Ullman in the Morning and a great 2018.
On FM News Talk
97.1. Listening to The Mark Cox Show. Follow the show on Facebook. Facebook.com/The Mark Cox Show.
Today I've decided to talk about something I really know nothing about. Politics.
Yeah, by the way, today Stuart Smalley is no longer a member of the United States Senate. Today's officially the day that he's stepping down.
I didn't know that took effect.
What's the matter,
today.
Liz? Why were you waving your hands over there?
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah. So he's gone.
But he said he will still have a voice.
Well, it'll be an annoying voice, just like it is now.
Exactly.
You were pointing out something about that race because the governor up there is going to appoint the female lieutenant governor to the United States Senate. And I said that's always going to be a blue seat, and you're now trying to argue with me that the Republicans might have a chance in that primary?
I don't think I was arguing. I think I was trying to make a compelling case that...
You say potato, I say potato. Go ahead.
Well, Donald Trump only lost Minnesota by 4 points in a very blue state, which is surprising. And then, Norm Coleman, who was a moderate Republican, was the senator there before Stuart Smalley. So they have a history of voting in some kooks. Look, Jesse Ventura, the body, he was the governor. So I don't think you can completely write that seat off, especially since Donald Trump barely lost Minnesota of all places.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Al Franken does next. What do you think? He won't be going back to Saturday Night Live.
I was going to say, I thought he was going back to Saturday Night Live. He'll probably get a show on MSNBC.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen to him. That's exactly it. So Chris Matthews, I see this story, and I'm like, what, are you kidding me? Listen to what Chris Matthews said. Here, cut number 1 for me, Liz, from Chris Matthews. Listen.
Who's out there saying, if it weren't for that misbehavior with women and that Access Hollywood bragging thing, and for this awful thing he said about Kirsten Gillibrand coming in and begging for his money, I'd like him. Nobody seems to care. Why is it that this isn't grabbing onto him the way it grabbed onto all the other people that have been accused?
Chris Matthews has now been accused of inappropriate behavior on female guests. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Somebody quit, and there are rumors that there was some sort of settlement to shut her up from his program. But most of the allegations that I heard, and I think, I'm no fan of Chris Matthews, but what I've argued all along is that the danger with where this avalanche is going is that it's devolved from sexual assault and or using power to get sexual favors from an underling to the fact that some of his comments were perceived as inappropriate. Yeah. Like female guests would come on, or he'd have somebody on that he interviewed, and he would make some comment about their looks, and that seemed to be some of the complaints that I read about his show.
I think the line is, did people complain? Were MSNBC constantly getting complaints on Chris Matthews making remarks to female guests that they felt was inappropriate. I think that's the line. If people are coming out now 20 years later and never complained, they just said, well, Chris said this to me when I was on his show back in 1999, then I think that's BS.
Chris, so the Washington Times is one of the ones that had the article. New York Times had something on it, too. Chris Matthews accused of sexual harassment. MSNBC confirms paying a woman. So, yeah.
I'm really surprised because I was calling when this came out a couple of weeks ago that he was gone. I said he's no bigger than Matt Lauer or Charlie Rose, so I don't understand how he is surviving.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't. But you know, like Franken, who was also accused, instead of talking about the allegations against himself, he wants to point the finger at Donald Trump.
Well, liberal. He's the president, so he's much more important than Chris Matthews, and that should be a big deal.
I couldn't agree more. Listen to David Gregory, who again, from Meet the Depressed fame, and now he sort of floats around to the different stations. Listen to him from cut number 6 here, Liz, please.
And it's here also because of how the president will position himself. The economy is everything in 2018 and in 2020. Yep. If President Trump can say, look, you don't pay attention to any of this other stuff. If I'm the one who keeps the economy going, he's going to make a strong argument.
Yeah, generally that works.
It's the economy, stupid.
It's the economy, stupid. And if this economy, Dow's up another 100 points today, the last time I checked, this economy's up, continues on this pace or picks up because of these tax cuts. I don't see, short of war with North Korea or something unforeseen, which could obviously always happen, I see this being a very good year for the Republicans.
You said it earlier, it's 2001, so it's hard, or beginning of the year, so it's hard to make predictions. And I do go back to that thing that the party in power always loses, or has the presidency, always loses seats. That didn't happen under George W. Bush in one of his years, I know, but I still think that I think it's going to be a good year. I think we're going to lose some seats, but I don't think we're going to lose control of Congress. I'll put it that way.
That's where you see it going.
Yes. Yes.
That's
I
good.
think we're going to lose seats, but I don't think we're going to lose control. And I think the Claire McCaskill Missouri Senate race is going to be a lot closer than people think. Claire is a very savvy politician, and I think she is trying to choose her opponent like she did last time. And I'll just leave it there.
You think she's trying to? You think she wants Hawley?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah. Because I think that she can. I think that she wants Hawley because she can create a divide between Republicans who thinks that he's too close to the establishment and has only been in office for a year. I think she wants a divide and conquer thing.
Could be. Let me get to the phones here real quick. Kevin, thanks for holding on.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, we're talking about, the legislative path for 2018. I'm more worried about taking care of laws already on the books. Immigration, the travel ban, gun laws. We're not talking about those things. And to me, I feel like I expected more out of Trump coming up on his first year as presidency. I expected sanctuary cities to be closed down. I expected the funding to be cut off and even just basically ignore the Supreme Court ruling. I don't think he's done enough.
He's tried, but he's been challenged in court on every single one of those decisions, particularly the stripping the money from the sanctuary cities.
And with his own party, he's been challenged.
If I'm still on the air, one of the things the president can do, and there's only two presidents that have done it, it's long overdue, and that's Lincoln and Jackson ignored Supreme Court rulings. That's a fact. Judges can be impeached for their radical rulings. It's called judicial high-handedness. There have been 62 judges in the history of our country, federal judges, that have had impeachment proceedings brought against them, and 13 have been impeached. That's what we need more of, and that's what I want. There's somebody that I want Trump to push is the judicial branch.
Yeah, it's a good point. And, Kevin, thank you for the call. One of the things where the president has had a lot of success so far in his first year is on the judicial nominees. Yeah. There's no way around it. So when he took office, there were 105 federal judicial vacancies, which is an unusually high number. Mm-hmm. And he's made it a priority to fill those and fill them with Republicans. Yeah. Which is huge.
I understand the caller's point, but then I worry a little bit about separation of powers. I mean, all three of the branches are supposed to be equally strong, and it bothers me a little bit to see the executive branch kind of being heavy-handed in trying to control the judiciary branch by, trying to get judges impeached. You have to keep politics out of judiciary as much as possible.
Yeah, I don't know if I would not agree with the idea of ignoring the courts when it comes to some of these things, but I think he could be a little more aggressive in challenging some of these issues, like pushing, as he did with the travel ban, going straight to the Supreme Court and saying, please clear this up, because these activists who, I mean, they judge shop. Let's face it. They go to to some crazy on the Ninth Circuit who they know is going to rule in their favor, and then if that gets tied up in court, it could take years before it gets to the Supreme Court. So maybe what they need to do is be more aggressive in trying to ask the Supreme Court to review some of these lower court decisions sooner rather than later, because if not, they'll use this at every turn to tie up everything he's doing. And as of yesterday, speaking of things that they've tried to type in court, the state of California, in addition to being completely a bunch of dope-smoking hippies now, approved sanctuary status. January 1st, they became a sanctuary state. I'm not talking about this bill they passed in Illinois where it instructs the highway patrol and police agencies on how to deal. This affects every municipality in the state, basically, instructing their law enforcement on how to act. You can't ask anybody their immigration status, right down the line.
Yeah. And that's crazy. I mean, we have federalism. I know the federal government is a strong central government, and then you have the states that have their own autonomy, but you just can't make your state a sanctuary city and just allow illegals.
And remember, the Democrats were fine with that being upheld in Arizona when they didn't like what Jan Brewer was doing down there, and now all of a sudden they don't want the federal government to step in and stop California from doing this crazy stuff. I would agree with that completely. Chris Arps, Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year.
Looking forward to a great 2018.
I am too.
It's going to be fantastic, and thank you so much for your support and your participation in the Mark Cox Show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
We appreciate it. All right, that's Chris Arps. I'll tell you what, lots coming up for you. We're trying to get Catherine Herridge on. Some great reporting today on this Trump dossier story and this Papadopoulos connection. What role did that play? Hopefully we get to her before the end of the program. 314-969-9797.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Naputi Wellness. NaputiWellnessCenter.com.
Men, are you tired of those daily blue enhancement pills that take days, weeks, or months to work, if they ever work at all? Listen up. Now you can take Red, the new natural male empowerment pill that works on demand. Even your partner will notice the difference the very first time you use it. To prove Red won't disappoint like the others, you're invited to participate in our nationwide I Take Red Partner Reaction Guarantee Trial. We're seeking participants for this nationwide trial, not only to prove it works the very first time you try it. We guarantee your partner will also notice the difference. Forget those slow-acting blue pills and join those who proudly take Red. Over 50,000 pills have already been claimed and supplies are limited. So to ensure your participation in this free nationwide trial, you must call now.
Superior virility on demand. You only need to take Red once to see what all the fuss is about. Call immediately to participate in our free nationwide trial. Call 800-658-0723. 800-658-0723. Be one of thousands to proudly say, I take Red. 800-658-0723.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. If you're like most folks, you probably spent too much money on the holidays. Now the statements are coming in the mail and you're almost scared to open them. What if I could show you a way to get rid of all your credit cards and save $500, $600, $700 a month? What if I could show you how to do this without any out-of-pocket cost and you can skip 2 months of your mortgage payments? Don't let all your 2017 credit card debt ruin your new year. Apply for a cash-out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, Missouri and Illinois residential mortgage licensee.
The Monster Energy Supercross 2018 season is here. On race day, preparation turns into determination as the world's greatest dirt bike riders give it everything they've got.
It's all about going to battle, for you. You're the guy that lays it on the line.
Here comes a gate drop.
Tickets are on sale now. Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship coming to the Dome at America Center March 17th. Visit supercrosslive.com. Lock in your seats today.
What happened? You used to go hours without visiting the bathroom. Now it seems like you're constantly getting up to pee, and you're even getting up at night to go. This is not okay. Listen, the makers of Super Beta Prostate, the #1 prostate formula, are introducing a new wonder pill, Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced, with 3 key ingredients that are great for your prostate. It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one. To celebrate, we're sending free bottles to men who want to cut down on bathroom trips. Yes, your first 30-day supply is free. Pay shipping and handling. Call 1-800-255-3377. Early research suggests that an ingredient in P3 Advanced may help support a normal prostate size. Combine that with a reduction in urges to pee, and you have a formula you'd be crazy not to try. Get P3 Advanced free. Call 1-800-255-3377. 1-800-255-3377. 1-800-255-3377.
FM News Talk 97.1. Log on and see what you've been hearing at 971talk.com.
St. Louis's FM News Talk.
FM News Talk 97.1. KFTK FM Florissant. KFTK AM East St. Louis. K254CR St. Louis.
Chanting for freedom in Iran. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News, on a 6th day of protests in Iran.
This is the precise picture of a long oppressed people rising up against their dictators.
U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley moments ago saying the protests are widespread and spontaneous, rejecting the claims of Iran's supreme leader that they're driven from outside the country by Iran's enemies. President Trump tweeting earlier that the Iran regime is brutal and corrupt and that the people have little food, big inflation, and no human rights, and that the U.S. is watching.
Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, defended the president's decision to support the protesters.
You don't be quiet when people are losing their lives because they're standing up for basic essential needs and for freedom.
In mid-January, the president could decide to reimpose or enact new sanctions against Iranian government elements that have cracked down on protesters.
Fox's John Decker at the White House. Ambassador Haley calling for a UN Security Council meeting on Iran, where hundreds have been arrested, at least 20 killed. It's so cold, they've had snow flurries in central Florida. Much of the country still locked in a dangerous deep freeze. Fox's Jeff Manasso, live in our Midwest Bureau.
Lisa, we've seen record frozen colds in the northern plains to Chicago with Arctic air that's shut down schools from Oklahoma to New England.
As a parent, it's a huge pain, but I remember when I was a kid how much it really stung standing out in the cold.
Then just put on some extra layers.
Winter is not my thing.
They're in Boston. Warming centers have opened in Alabama and Florida with exposure warnings for people and pets. Forecasters also say that after temps tick up midweek, to expect more record cold across much of the country, including New York City, which could feel wind chills of 20 below this weekend. Lisa.
Thanks, Jeff. Fair and balanced.
2018 is an opportunity to grow your business with top talent. But how do you find it? ZipRecruiter. One click posts your job to over 100 job boards. Then, smart matching technology instantly alerts quality candidates about your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals, go to Abraham.com/50shades. 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 No opt-in required. Sells absolutely nothing. Gives away over 800 hours of priceless strategic marketing and business growth expertise. Videos, audios, full-length best-selling books, interviews of legendary business icons. Abraham.com/50shades. Abraham.com/50shades.
97.1 News Time 103. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Church. A lawsuit seeking an injunction and damages over Governor Eric Greitens and his staff's use of the encrypted messaging app Confide was filed in Cole County Circuit Court for the Sunshine Project after a report by the Kansas City Star exposing the administration's use of the app in December. It also calls for the defendants to give, quote, an immediate accounting within 3 days of all the government employees who have used or were using the app. MoDOT work on the Poplar Street Bridge has been suspended once again due to the frigid weather. Work was scheduled to resume today, but because of freezing temperatures will be delayed once again. A new date for the striping has not been released. The National Weather Service says St. Louis's frigid temperatures are here to stay through the week. The normal temperature for this time of year in St. Louis is around 40 degrees. A wind chill advisory is in effect in the St. Louis area until Tuesday afternoon. This news update brought to you by Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Hey guys, Glover here for the All Financial Group. A new year is our chance to make a new start, and if one of your 2018 resolutions is to finally get serious about your finances and about your retirement, then I have a challenge for you. I want you to follow through on that resolution by making an appointment to meet with Steve All at the All Financial Group. You've already done the hard part, which is to work for decades, put away money for retirement. Now it's time to crunch the numbers and find out where you stand. The sooner you do it, the easier it will be to actually fulfill that resolution to retire. Get started today with your own full-blown retirement review with Steve by calling 636-230-8824. Mention my name, Dave Glover, and there's no charge for that review. Again, that's 636-230-8824, or sign up online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
The All Financial Group is a financial services firm that offers a broad array of products and services, including life insurance and annuities, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi, I'd like to report a bear hug.
Uh-huh, okay.
Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some, dry brush and leaves around, so, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Hey, guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
It's 6:42 p.m. Time for Steve Plotto and his son Dylan to do the dishes. They talk about everything from the yuckiness of girls to the awesomeness of his soccer team. Sometimes they don't talk at all. Then, hey! The dreaded splash fight. It's Dad o'clock, and it's the best time of the day. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
My name is Dale Pazinski, and this is how I live United. I volunteer with United Way, helping the homeless in my community by teaching computer skills and helping them build a basic resume to save on their very own USB drive. It's huge when somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of the Mark Cox Show.
The Mark Cox Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
The Mark Cox Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
Listen to both sides.
Let's get it on. Is The Mark Cox Show.
But I really think it's a guy who's sitting at the top like predecessors before him at the FBI, let the power of the FBI go to his head and made him do things which I believe were not only unethical, but could possibly have been unlawful.
Yeah, John Sununu there discussing Jim Comey. Comey puts out some snarky tweet wishing for a, truthful 2018 or something along those lines. And you talk about a guy whose judgment is being called into serious question. That's kind of it, I think. And welcome back into the second hour of the Mark Cox Show. We're going to get our Twitter poll up and running in just a couple of, well, I guess it's up and running now. So be sure you go to @TonyColumbo971 or @MarkCox971. And this is your chance to vote on the things you would most like to see Donald Trump do this year. What do you want him to revisit the repeal of Obamacare? Do you want him to build the wall? Do you want to try to work on ending this North Korean conflict, or just focus on continuing to grow the economy? And based on how this turns out, obviously we'll have a 1, 2, 3, 4 here. But go ahead and vote @MarkCox971, @TonyColumbo971. I've retweeted it. You can retweet it, and we'll try to get some good results here for you by the time this thing wraps up tomorrow afternoon. So that's it. #MCS971 shows up on our social media wall here. We can get your interactions on that if you are a Twitterer. That's what we like to do. You can always check us out on Facebook @MarkCox, The Mark Cox Show on Facebook, @MarkCox971 on Twitter. If you are on the web, though, the show is live streamed every day. So you go to 971talk.com /Cox. You can watch us there at your desk if you're at work. You can listen to us through the app. That 971 app is awesome. I was talking to somebody the other day who listened to it all the way to Branson. So doesn't matter where you are, as long as you got reception, pick it up. And that, of course, there's always the Next Radio thing, if you've got that as well, if your phone allows it. And we're working on that, aren't we?
I think they all do now.
They allow the Next Radio app, but some of the phones still haven't unlocked that FM tuner, which is what we're working on next.
Oh, gotcha.
Because if your phone has the FM tuner unlocked, you can just listen to free FM radio right over your phone.
Right.
But not all of them have done that, including, I don't think, Apple yet.
Okay,
but we're working on it. You can download the app,
Just
and
so
you can
know,
listen to this radio station on the Next Radio app.
I'm just going to let you know.
Yes.
My not Apple phone does have the FM transmitter. Just letting you know.
You are going to come over to the dark side at some point.
Never!
And get an Apple iPhone.
No!
You are. I think that you are. Did you just drop yours? Hopefully it bounces.
No,
you didn't know you dropped the
I have
pen.
dropped my phone several times, and it does just fine, thank you. My phone is a phone for klutzy lips.
Apparently this iPhone 10 is not selling like they thought it would. And I can't imagine why everybody wouldn't want to run out and spend $1,000 on a phone. Yeah, I know the kids always want the newest technology. I say kids, my kids always want the newest technology. But I don't, I know some of the big service providers like AT&T were offering a buy one, get one deal on these newer iPhones. Not the X, but whatever they're calling it, the 8 or the 9 or whatever it is.
You know what, though?
But you're still paying a lot.
They did the marketing at the wrong time. They should have waited till next year when everybody saw those tax cuts, and then they could afford those $1,000.
I'm glad you brought that up.
You're welcome.
Because the point I wanted to make about that last hour, and I completely forgot about this, it completely slipped my mind that Chris Arps was distracting me, is I had an opportunity this weekend over the holiday to have a conversation with somebody who is a chief financial officer for a company. And I said, I've been a little confused about something because I heard Steve Mnuchin say the other day before the new year that people are going to see more in their paychecks after the first of the year. And I thought, I thought you had to go in and change your withholding amount to see that change in your paycheck. But that is not the case, according to a friend of mine who's a CFO. He said they will get the new withholding guidelines sometime in January, and they'll implement them in February. So under the new tax rules, you will see more in your paycheck, probably starting in February.
Which is what several people from the administration had said, and several senators, congressmen had said, you'll see it in February.
I've heard them say that, but I guess I didn't understand exactly how that was going to work. But these companies will institute their new withholding guidelines, which will automatically boost the amount of cash you have in your check without you having to do anything.
Sweet.
So that's
I like that kind of thing.
That's another time when Democrats may want to keep a low profile for a couple days because people will see the bump in their check and they'll say, wait a minute, I'm middle income and I was told I wouldn't see any extra money in my check. What's going on?
That's going to be really interesting when it comes to these midterms. Like how, if all this works really, really well, it'll be interesting to see how Democrats say, well, we didn't.
I think that's what's going to not play so well for them.
I think so.
In the fall.
So hopefully it all works out as planned.
So coming up this hour, we are still hoping to get to Catherine Herridge. She's pretty busy. She's kind of like the chief investigative reporter for the Fox News Channel. But she's working on a great story today that actually got reported out of Australia. And if this ends up being true, it raises even more questions than we already had about the Trump dossier, where it started, right? And what prompted that investigation to begin with. And I'm hoping to get Catherine on here, but I don't want to wait any longer on this story because I think it's a big one. So there were some big news released this weekend on some of these Anthony Weiner, Huma Abedin emails, right, from his laptop. But I think this Papadopoulos story is even a little bigger right now. I want you to listen to part of this report from Catherine Herridge on these reports coming out of Australia. Listen.
Australian media is reporting that there is anger and frustration over leaks by U.S. officials revealing an Australian diplomat steered intelligence that may have kick-started the FBI's Russia probe. According to the Sydney Morning Herald, the Australian ambassador to the U.S. personally steered Australia's dealings with the FBI during the 2016 campaign after a meeting earlier that year involving a senior Australian official and a Trump campaign aide. As you mentioned, the New York Times first reported a May 2016 meeting between campaign aide George Papadopoulos and an Australian diplomat may have kick-started the FBI Russia case. Papadopoulos told the diplomat during a meeting in London the Russians had damaging information on Hillary Clinton. 2 months later, in the summer of 2016, when WikiLeaks began releasing hacked DNC emails, the Australian ambassador flagged the incident with Papadopoulos to U.S. intelligence. This morning on America's Newsroom, a senior Republican said the reporting about Papadopoulos is a distraction, and the real scandal is the FBI's reliance on the unverified Trump dossier.
So we're going to get those answers to the dossier, but clearly people are trying to say, oh, don't worry about the dossier. There were these other things. I'm not sure that the Papadopoulos explanation is really any better. In fact, it's probably thinner than even the dossier. Just some guy at a bar drinking.
That was Congressman DeSantis there. I wanted you to hear that because you understand what might have prompted the beginnings of this investigation. If what Australian media is saying was this Papadopoulos character drunk in a bar saying that people in Russia told him they had a bunch of dirt on Hillary Clinton. And immediately there's an investigation launched because that would almost predate the dossier. Not that the dossier is not a big issue, because if that's why they were investigating, if the entire investigation is based on a dossier in which the content has been questioned to the point of being tossed out, that's a big problem. And DeSantis address that again. Listen.
Yeah, just think about where this dossier came from. This was paid for by Hillary Clinton, the Democratic Party. They paid millions of dollars to Perkins Cole law firm, who then laundered it to Fusion GPS. So you have Fusion GPS producing this thing. I think Christopher Steele was more of a cover to make it look like an intelligence product. But to this day, the FBI can't verify anything in it other than one person associated with Trump traveled to Russia at some point. So this stuff is bogus. It's fake news. And you expect that kind of stuff to be generated in the course of a political campaign. But if that is presented to the FBI and then they're taking that unverified dossier and launching a federal counterintelligence investigation without anything more, to me, that raises some serious questions. And was it Peter Strzok who was involved? Remember, the key text message was he was in Andrew McCabe's office and they were talking about, Lisa Page said, oh, Donald Trump can't win. And Strzok says, I don't think the FBI can take that risk. We need an insurance policy, basically against Trump's election. So the question is, was that dossier and the subsequent investigation and surveillance the insurance policy he referenced? Messages.
Yeah. You have to wonder about that. And I think DeSantis makes a good point about it. And I don't know if the Papadopoulos thing throws even more questions into that. That's what I would think. This news just breaking right now. Senator Orrin Hatch has announced that he's going to retire at the end of his term. And he's the longest serving GOP senator. He's 83 years old. And he'd said recently, he'd indicated that he was going to run for another term in 2018. But apparently now he's not going to do that. He's going to retire when his term is up in January of 2019. You know what that means, don't you? I'd almost be willing to bet money on it that the next senator from Utah is going to be Mitt Romney, because Romney was talking about challenging Hatch in the primary. And I think the president had already come out and made some comment about trying to keep him from running. But he and Trump are well known. I mean, I know Romney came in and there were even discussions about him for Secretary of State. But I don't think that's a good relationship at all. So we'll see. Romney's claiming it right now. His spokesman said he didn't know Romney's intentions, but I think if an opportunity arose, he would seriously consider it. So there you have it. That's kind of what's going on with Orrin Hatch. He's not going to run for re-election at all. Coming up a little later, we're going to talk to Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh is a spokesperson for the RNC. She's got some ideas on what priorities will be for 2018. Still got that call out to Catherine Herridge, so I'd love to get her on because she can better explain this Papadopoulos connection and how it may well have spurred this investigation into China links, maybe out of fear on the part of the Obama administration that the Russians had dirt on Hillary Clinton. Not the first time we've heard that, except for the dirt that they didn't want to share, which was the Uranium One deal. Why isn't that a bigger deal? Also, we've got this information released this weekend, thanks to Judicial Watch, about the content of some of the emails Huma Abedin sent to her Yahoo account. There were things with the words classified on them, along with the passwords for her government laptop that she sent to her Yahoo account on August 24th of 2009. Had the passwords for her government laptop, and apparently all Yahoo user accounts were hacked in 2013. We know that for sure. If folks, if you or I did that, we would be communicating through a telephone with a glass wall in between us right now. You would be in jail if you did that. And Donald Trump was rightly right to call her out and question why the Justice Department has not pursued charges against Huma Abedin, among others. So we're going to get to those questions and more. We'll talk to Catherine McEnany, hopefully Catherine Herridge, when we come back. You're listening to The Mark Cox Show.
The Mark Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com.
And nothing gets me down.
Mark Cox here. I want to tell you about the Next Radio app. It's now available for all smartphones. It's the free app that allows you to listen to live local FM radio on your phone. You can download it now in the App Store and Google Play Store. Next Radio is an affiliate of FM News Talk 97.1.
Michael's Flooring Outlet, the place to be in 2018. How about that? So you go visit Michael's if you're going to put flooring in sometime this year. Maybe you went somewhere for New Year's Eve. You saw the beautiful looking hardwood floors that your neighbors have, and you've now decided that's something you need to do. Michael's got a great selection of those. No matter what you're looking for, no matter what color, what quality level, they can help you at Michael's Flooring Outlet. Or maybe it's finishing off the basement, and you need something down there that's impervious to water, because we know in a basement water can happen. Maybe it comes through hydrostatically or whatever. You don't want to put flooring in that's going to get ruined. So Michael went out and bought a truckload of this stuff. He's still got some of it left. This Mohawk waterproof flooring. It's also known as WPC. You can put it in basements and bathrooms and kitchens. You can install it yourself if you're good at things like that. They got a great do-it-yourself counter at Michael's Flooring Outlet, particularly at the location up there in St. Peter's by the warehouse. So check it out. They've got it for $249 a square foot instead of the $3 to $4 you would pay somewhere else. Go to their website to find out more in one of the locations closest to you at michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Become the next millionaire with Missouri Lottery's Powerball. Wednesday's Powerball jackpot is an estimated $440 million. The Missouri Lottery reminds you it only takes one ticket to win. Visit your favorite retailer because you can't win the estimated $440 million Powerball jackpot if you don't play.
If you're retiring in the next 5 years, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, First Vice President Investments with Stifel and host of On the Money, heard every Saturday from 11 till noon on FM News Talk 97.1. Retirement is a huge step, and when it comes to investing your retirement assets, you can't afford to make mistakes. It's vitally important that you work with an experienced professional to guide you through important retirement decisions. If you're retiring soon, we should meet to develop a clear plan for your retirement goals. Your meeting is an opportunity to understand your retirement situation and discuss how you can proceed. Of course, your consultation is free of charge and requires no obligation on your part. If you're retiring in the next 5 years, now is the time to start planning. To schedule your free retirement plan review, visit bobstockdale.com or call me at 636-448-7655. That's bobstockdale.com or 636-448-7655. Stifel, member FINRA, SIPC, and NYSE.
Debt can be stressful, especially credit card debt with its outrageous interest rates and fees. Did you know, unless you pay your bill in full, you get charged interest, even on the part of the bill you do pay? Don't take my word for it. It's right there on your statement. I'm Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. You don't need to live under the stress of debt when there's a very good chance I can help you get rid of it by using the equity in your home. Consolidating that debt into a fixed-rate, tax-deductible loan in the threes will free up hundreds of dollars every month. And we can do this without adding any closing costs onto your loan. Plus, you'll skip 2 months of mortgage payments. Don't wait any longer. Call now for a straightforward review of your loan options. The call is free, but the savings could be life-changing. Remember, whether you are buying, refinancing, or need to consolidate debt, call me, Michael Mohan, 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, APRs in the threes, NMLS 250353224143.
Traffic reports at your fingertips. Real-time traffic online. Log on to 971talk.com for real-time traffic updates.
Brought to you by Deck and Patio Living. Make your backyard dreams come true. Call 890-2222.
You're listening to The Mark Cox Show. Follow Mark on Twitter at MarkCox971.
It actually begs the question, why were some of the very people involved in clearing Hillary Clinton then drafted onto the Mueller probe to go and persecute the president? It seems very suspect that people who were already engaging in nefarious activity to clear Hillary Clinton, even though there was evidence of a crime, end up being the very same people that Bob Mueller goes and curates to join his team.
Matt Getz with a very important question there. And you have to wonder how that happened. We'll get back to more of that discussion in just a couple of minutes, along with the president's urging of the Justice Department to act on James Comey and suggesting that Huma Abedin should face jail time. We'll get to all that and more coming up with your phone calls at 314-969-9797. Right now, I want to welcome Kayla McEnany back to the show. She is a spokesperson for the RNC. And Kaylee, how are you?
Hey, Mark, doing great.
Good to have you back on. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
You know, we did a lot of wrap-ups of the successes of 2017. Obviously, capped off with a big scoop of chocolate ice cream with that tax reform there right before the new year. That was fantastic. And now we're looking forward to 2018. What does the RNC look for in terms of legislative priorities?
Well, there are a lot. We went over them this morning, and there were about a dozen things that need to get done that will get done in 2018, but among some of the highlights is certainly infrastructure. We know that polling suggests that the American people really would like to see the two parties work together, and infrastructure is a place where we think that that's feasible and can happen. We also hope Democrats will come work with us on immigration reform and, of course, passing a budget, which we need 60 votes for. So we will need 9 Democrats for that to happen and keep the government open. But, again, a lot of this depends on Democrats taking a step towards us.
Yeah, and particularly with regards to infrastructure. I'm one of those people firmly in the camp that we need to be looking on ways to cut expenses. Infrastructure is going to be very expensive. How do they do that without adding more to this deficit?
Yeah, well, one of the ways is private-public sector partnerships. That we think as Republicans is something that should be done because the private sector has a much better track record than does the public sector. You can certainly look at the $787 billion stimulus package that Obama put together, allegedly creating shovel-ready jobs, and later he admitted they weren't so shovel-ready. So, that's one of the ways. But ultimately, infrastructure is one of those things that is, as much as we don't want to have to spend to fix our roads and bridges, they are at the point where we need to do that. I know D+ is what we're rated, our infrastructure, our roads and bridges, and we've got to remedy that. But I agree with you that we need to find the most cost-effective way. And as Republicans, that's the name of our party is doing things in a way that embraces free market principles.
Yeah, and I heard some other analysts this morning discussing the possibility of some sort of a increase in the gas tax or some sort of temporary increase in the gas tax to maybe pay for this. Have you heard that floated anywhere in D.C.?
I have not heard that floated in D.C. I can imagine it not be very popular with most Americans. And, we are the party of tax cuts. So, ultimately, I am of the philosophy, as are most conservatives, let's address the spending. As Paul Ryan said, let's look at entitlement reform because ultimately that is the driver of our national debt is ballooning entitlements that we don't have the money to pay for.
Yeah, that's a good point. DACA is bound to come up, and I know it's going to be a priority between now and March. Do you see this as a bigger – you said immigration reform. Whenever I hear somebody throw it out there as immigration reform, I think of like the Gang of Eight bill. I assume we're talking about what Kellyanne Conway said this morning, which is we've made it very clear to Democrats that any DACA agreement is going to include money for border security.
That's right. This would be nothing like the Gang of Eight plan. I know it can get confusing, and that's why we didn't like to say tax reform. We like to say tax cuts. So we'll have to find our right messaging on immigration, because you're right. This is not something that's going to be a wishy-washy amnesty for all, and then here we are decades later with the same problem, much like what we saw happen in the 80s with the temporary fix. We are wanting exactly what Kellyanne Conway said, a permanent DACA fix in exchange for border wall funding. The president promised that on the campaign trail. He's made good on his promises. He's not backpedaled as many presidents do once they get in office, and he's sincere about wanting funding for that wall.
So then do we see two different efforts there? I mean, I could almost see them crafting a deal where they agreed to some sort of permanent residency for these children that were brought over in return for some funding for a border wall, and then separately from that, or is it part of that deals with issues like chain migration?
Well, that's exactly right. You bring that up. That's a huge part of this. And, ideally, if that could be in one immigration package, that would be certainly the best way to go about it, to have one comprehensive package, one where we move to a merit-based system like Canada, like Australia, where people who come here are prioritized if they've made an effort to want to assimilate into our culture, for example, by learning English. That's what we want to move to. So all in one package would be ideal, but, if Democrats force our hand, then we'll have to, find the best way to get it done and get the most for our party and our constituents.
Yeah, so, which is going to put the Democrats in an unusual situation as well, because they basically put their stake in the ground saying they would never provide money for a border wall under any circumstances. Do you think they're going to bend on that?
I think they have to bend. If DACA means as much to them as they say, they're going to have to bend, because I think this is one of the points that hasn't been getting out there enough, and it's really important here, is that Democrats have put these children who, as you point out, have come here by no choice of their own. And let's be clear, they're not all children. Many of them are adults who were brought here as children, so America's the only home they've ever known. Mm-hmm. They were given this temporary fix by Obama. Obama said it was unconstitutional for him to grant this widespread amnesty as an executive order, but after saying he didn't have the power to do it 22 times, he went and did it. And then courts started striking down parts of his temporary fix. So Democrats have positioned these individuals to be in the bad situations they're in, not Republicans, and it's up to them to make good to these folks that they've really put in a bad scenario.
It's a great point. We're talking to Kayleigh McEnany, who is working with the RNC. I brought this up in my last segment. I talked to a chief financial officer for a small business this weekend, and he was pointing out that sometime in January they'll get their new withholding tables, and Americans are going to see an increase in their paychecks starting, he believed, in February. Which is when the rubber hits the road, and all these Democrats have to explain to their constituents why they voted against that.
It's exactly right. And another great point, because Americans will see their paychecks increase. I was looking at the math this morning, and it's anywhere from $400 to, I think, the upwards of $3,000, depending on where you fall in the brackets, that you'll see come back in your paycheck this year. So all Americans, or I should at least say 80% of Americans, if we want to go with the left-leaning analysis that's been put out there, 80% of Americans will see a tax cut and will see those paychecks increase, particularly those in the middle class and those in the lower income brackets.
Would the RNC, or do you know of any legislators on the Republican side who are looking at additional tax cut proposals for 2018?
I haven't heard for 2018, but absolutely we're looking at additional tax cut packages. One thing that we've been saying since we started this tax cut endeavor is we want to see many iterations of tax cuts. That would be ideal. That's what Reagan did. It took Reagan several versions, several passed bills to ultimately take the top rate from what was an astonishing, I think, 70% down to below 40%. So that took several bites at the apple. So we definitely plan to take another. Whether we fit it in this year, that'd be great. If not, certainly in the next 3 years.
Let's talk, Kayleigh, before we get done here. Let's talk real quick about these midterm elections that are coming up. I heard Larry Sabato say earlier that today's like a free day. Everybody can speculate all they want on what might happen in 2018, but it's going to depend on a variety of things, including whether or not the economy continues doing well or we have some problems in the Middle East. I mean, a lot of things could go wrong. But from my perspective, even though it's an off-year election and oftentimes the party in power loses in those, the Democrats are the ones that have the hill to climb this year. They've got the most seats up for grabs in the Senate, and I just don't see this being the slam dunk that they would lead people to believe.
It's not, and what's so odd is Democrats have decided to sing the same old tired tune of 2016 when they said Donald Trump will never be president. Well, now they're saying, it's inevitable, we're going to take the House. But you're exactly right that the map, when you look at the Senate map, they're defending more than double the seats that Republicans are. 10 of those states Donald Trump won. 5 of them he won by double digits. So the Senate is a real uphill battle. And then you look at the House and you see all that we've accomplished in the House in particular, who's passed double what the Senate has passed. Good things like tax cuts for the American people that we've talked about. There's a lot of cause for Republican optimism, and this old, tired Democratic song, I think it's going to fall flat again in 2018 like it did in 2016.
I think it's a great point. Kylie McEnany, thank you for getting us off on the right foot in 2018, and Happy New Year to you.
Thanks. Happy New Year's to you.
All right. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for your time. Again, she's pretty optimistic about this year, and I think she's on to something. Hey, guess what? The White House press briefing, the first one of 2018, is underway right now. Sarah Sanders is out there giving her opening statement right now, and we'll soon begin taking questions from the media. Let's get to a quick break. When we come back, we'll go to some of this live for you as she starts to take questions from the media in 2018. We'll be right back.
This is the Mark Cox Show. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Plenty of sunshine on this back-to-work Tuesday. The holiday's over, but the cold continues. 16 for the high tonight. Partly cloudy skies, very cold, but not as cold. 10 degrees Wednesday. Plenty of sunshine and 22. Keep this cold pumping into Saturday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
All right, let me tell you about the Retirement Advisory Group. You know what? You're 59 and a half, and you are in what we can only refer to as the red zone, the retirement financial red zone. You want to be sure that you've got your ducks in a row so that when it comes time to retire, you're not facing the ups and downs of the stock market. The stock market's doing great right now. There's no doubt about that. Nobody would argue about that, but you don't want to take that risk. Thomas specializes in that. And in fact, coming up near the end of this month, you're going to hear more about this. We're going to have another one of his Protecting Your Retirement educational events. And you'll be able to sit down with me and Mark Close, and you'll hear Thomas Helbig's ideas for how to protect your financial assets in retirement. He's never lost a dime of his clients' money in the stock market. So you don't want to take that risk. So make 2018 now the year you protect your retirement nest egg. Call 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. You can still get that no obligation financial review. Call Thomas now or go to his website at retirementkey.com.
We all know the holiday season can bring so much joy, but yet we also know how many people can be struggling at this time. Imagine a single mom struggling to provide for her family, or a young child fighting a disease. These are real-life challenges for our people in our community, and I'm here to want to make a difference in our city. This holiday season, Lady Jane's is focusing much more than just on haircuts. We're focusing on our community and giving back. Stop by any Lady Jane's location and nominate a family today, or make a donation towards this great cause. For more information, visit us at ladyjanes.com.
I'm Brian from 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Neither rain nor sleet nor gloom of night will keep us from hauling away your junk. How about a flood? Not even that. Tornado? Nope. Blizzard? Nope. Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. What are you trying to say? When you've got junk that needs to disappear, all you have to do is point. Don't worry about how or if we can get there. We can. And we will. I love working with these guys. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
At Ameren, Missouri, we are committed to making our community a better and brighter place to live. And to us, that means even more than ensuring the lights come on when you flip a switch. It means making our green spaces greener by planting trees and picking up trash, coaching kids in everything from math to sports, and offering a helping hand to those in need. Volunteering in our community to brighten up the lives of those who live here. That's energy at work. Learn more at AmerenMissouri.com/community.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
I love being a part of the Action Team. It helps me help other people. It helps me feel good.
Being a part of the team always feels good. Go for it. Don't even hesitate.
For more than a decade, Major League Baseball players and action teams of high school students have been working together to train and inspire the next generation of volunteers.
Once you get there and realize how much you can change someone's life, it's one of the best feelings in the world.
Just that simple act that takes, 5 or 10 minutes of your time is making a difference and is transforming someone else's life.
All-stars Giancarlo Stanton and Chris Capuano join Action Team captains to make a difference in their communities. And you can too.
Just try it. Just go to one event, one Action Team event.
If we all show up together, that's what it's all about. It's not just one person, it's a group, it's a team.
It's been incredibly rewarding for me. It'll just make you feel so good about yourself.
I'd do anything to convince you just to be a part of this.
For more information, go to actionteam.org.
We have a circle of liberty around us.
Weeknights, 9 to midnight.
Whomever we are, wherever we are.
Mark Levin.
We have unalienable rights. Those are the laws of nature and nature's God.
Mark Levin.
On FM News Talk
97.1.
You're listening to The Mark Cox Show. Find everything Mark Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
Investigation, that would be something the Department of Justice would need to decide, and I would refer you to them on whether or not they move forward. Jordan?
Thanks, Sarah. Was the president disappointed that Senator Hatch decided not to seek re-election, and is he committed to campaign for whoever the Republican nominee would be in 2018?
Obviously, I don't think we've made a determination in terms of campaigning, but the president certainly has the greatest and deepest amount of respect for Senator Hatch and his over 4 decades of experience in the Senate. He's particularly thankful for the senator's leadership and massive effort that he played and the role that he played in getting the tax cut and reform package passed. And the president certainly praises his service and is very sad to see Senator Hatch leave and knows that he will certainly be missed. John?
Thanks a lot, Sarah. President Moon of South Korea has reached out to North Korea about a possible meeting between North and South Korean officials as early as next week. Is this a meeting that the administration supports? Would it in any way upset your strategy for dealing with North Korea?
Look, our policy on North Korea hasn't changed at all. The United States is committed and will still continue to put maximum pressure on North Korea to change and make sure that it denuclearizes the peninsula. Our goals are the same, and we share that with South Korea, but our policy and our process has not changed in this. Trey?
Would such a meeting be helpful?
Sorry, go ahead, John. I'll come back to you.
Would such a meeting be helpful, though, in terms of diffusing the situation that exists now in the region?
Again, our policy hasn't changed, and we've been very clear about the fact of what our priority is, and that's a denuclearized peninsula, and there's nothing new to update on that front. Trey?
On Iran, the president tweeted over the past weekend that the U.S. is watching very closely for human rights violations. What actions are being considered by the Trump administration should these violations occur?
Look, we'll keep you posted on any actions that we plan to take, and we're keeping a lot of options on the table at this time.
And if I can follow up on Steve's question about regime change, there are protesters.
So there's Sarah Huckabee Sanders kicking off 2018 with her same professional approach to shutting down the mainstream media. I just have to say, I've enjoyed. She's one of the reasons I'm thankful for some of the changes that were made in 2017. I think she was born to do this job. Can I just tell you that? And I'm so happy that we have Sarah up there. This discussion about the Olympics, somebody explained to me, other than the fact that if this Munchkin in North Korea happened to have athletes at this event, if he would be less likely to lob a bomb at South Korea when it's going on. That would be the only reason I could think of that the world would want to allow North Korea to participate in the Olympics. Am I missing something here? I mean, I understand South Korea's worried about it and they're hosting the whole thing, but I'm venturing a guess that this may well be the least attended Olympic Games in recent memory. I can't think of a situation why you would want to book a $4,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 trip to go to these Olympic Games unless you had an athlete competing when you've got a nut 50 miles away with nuclear weapons. An unstable individual with nuclear weapons. So I didn't really understand that question. That was John Decker, by the way, who we have on the program here all the time from Fox News Radio, who was asking the question about whether or not the White House was concerned that Seoul had made this offer. And I think they should be, maybe a little bit. I don't know why you would want – no, I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. Hey, by the way, and I brought this up earlier, I love the work Judicial Watch does. And I mentioned this Huma Abedin situation earlier, and I want to get back to it because I don't think we spent enough time on this today. This is important. This tweet was sent out from Tom Fitton at Judicial Watch. If you don't follow him, it's at Tom Fitton, Fitton. Get on Twitter and follow him. On August 18th of 2009, Huma Abedin was sent a PIN number and instructions on how to access her email from the secure State Department website. Huma Abedin forwarded this information to her Yahoo account, her unsecure Yahoo account, which we know Yahoo's been hacked a number of times. And Tom Fitton's point here is that Donald Trump is right to be concerned about that. Why in the world is it that Judicial Watch is still having to go to court to get the State Department, that's now run by a Republican appointee, to turn over this information? Because that's what happened here. They had to go to court and force the State Department to turn over more of this stuff. And part of it also, some of this is stuff that came from Anthony Weiner's computer. So the president tweeted this out, that Huma Abedin should face jail time after the State Department posted emails found on her estranged husband's computer that included confidential government information. This wasn't simply a case of carelessness. And it's not that intent matters for that violation of the law. Ask anybody you know with security clearance who works, I don't know, do you know anybody that works for Boeing? Ask them. You know anybody that works for the NGA? Ask them. What would happen if they even transcribed information from a classified document onto their personal email and sent it to themselves? They'd be in jail. Can I just tell you that? So, according to the documents that were released, Huma Abedin regularly forwarded work emails to her personal humaabedin@yahoo.com email address. She would use these accounts if her state account was down or if she needed to print an email or document for Hillary Clinton. She further explained that it was difficult to print from the Department of State system, so she also routinely forwarded emails to her personal email account so she could more easily print them. These are admissions from Huma Abedin in an FBI report. And yet, nobody's been held accountable for this. How could they go through and investigate this and not press charges of some sort? So, a longtime Clinton confidant, Sid Blumenthal, sent Hillary Clinton an email in July 2009 with this subject line: important, not for circulation. The message began with the word confidential, R.E. Moscow Summit. Abedin forwarded that email to her Yahoo address. The email was deemed too sensitive to release to the public, and the State Department had to redact the information. Still, folks, this was from 2009. In 2017, the State Department still had to redact the information before they released it to Judicial Watch because of the details that were included in it. We know since 2009, Yahoo's been hacked a couple of times. There's no reason to believe. So when James Comey testified or had made his statement, and he also testified before Congress that there's no doubt that they feel fairly confident that some of the communications were put at risk of being hacked in foreign countries. They've admitted that. And yet the president was taking heat for calling on the Department of Justice to act, that somehow this was him going after a former political rival. That's what's been suggested. Huma Abedin wasn't his political rival. She was, however, Hillary Clinton's right-hand woman. And if she's guilty of doing this, and Hillary did the exact same thing on her Clinton mail, how in the world is this not a violation? These are all questions that are going to have to be answered, and thank goodness Judicial Watch is still working on it, because so far the Department of Justice just doesn't seem that concerned. I don't know how we've gotten to this point, but we have, and I'm hoping that maybe 2018 brings us to a point where we see some action here, and that we just don't continue to let people get away with this stuff that would result in you or I being locked up, because that's kind of what the whole thing stinks of right there. All right. Coming up in the next hour, I'll get to some of your phone calls at 314-969-9797. What say you about this Huma Abedin email situation, and why in the world she's still walking around, not charged with anything? How did that happen? I'll get your phone calls on that. We're still hoping, beyond hope, to talk to Catherine Herridge about this Papadopoulos story that's going on. And Senator Bob Onder. Tomorrow, in case you're sleeping under a rock, tomorrow the legislative session opens down in Jefferson City. The Allman in the Morning crew is going to be down there live tomorrow morning doing interviews with legislators and all that stuff. We've got a bit of a sneak preview for you from Senator Bob Onder on what he's expecting out of the Missouri legislature in 2018. Will it be tax reform? Could it be a state tax cut? All of those things are on the table. All that and more coming up right here on The Mark Cox Show.
This hour of The Mark Cox Show brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Mark Cox Show.
Men, are you tired of those daily blue enhancement pills that take days, weeks, or months to work, if they ever work at all? Listen up. Now you can take Red, the new natural male empowerment pill that works on demand. Even your partner will notice the difference the very first time you use it. To prove Red won't disappoint like the others, you're invited to participate in our nationwide I Take Red Partner Reaction Guarantee Trial. We're seeking participants for this nationwide trial, not only to prove it works the very first time you try it. We guarantee your partner will also notice notice the difference. Forget those slow-acting blue pills and join those who proudly take red. Over 50,000 pills have already been claimed and supplies are limited. So to ensure your participation in this free nationwide trial, you must call now.
Superior Virility on demand. You only need to take red once to see what all the fuss is about. Call immediately to participate in our free nationwide trial. Call 800-658-0723. 800-658-0723. Be one of thousands to proudly say, I take red. 800-658-0723.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and keep heaters 3 feet away from anything that can burn. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
This is the story of the shaving company called Harry's. In an epic battle of David versus Goliath. In the early 1980s, a child was born. 2 of them, actually. Their names were Jeff and Andy. Time went by, they developed facial hair, and one day, something happened. Andy got ripped off buying overpriced razors. So they decided to start their own shaving company and fix shaving once and for all. They hired the best designers. They bought a 95-year-old German blade factory. And they started selling high-quality razors online with no upcharging, direct to customers. How did the overpriced razor company respond? By threatening to sue their pants off. Don't worry, Jeff and Andy have plenty of pants and a relentless dream to give all guys a great shave at a great price.
Try Harry's free. They'll send you a razor with 5 German blades, foaming shave gel, and even a travel blade cover when you sign up. Just cover shipping. Plus, get a free post-shave balm at checkout with code 5959. That's harrys.com, code 5959.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
The Mark Cox Show, brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Mark Cox Show.
Find everything Mark Cox at 971talk.com/Cox. FM News Talk, 97.1.
More pressure on Iran as deadly protests continue. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
I think the president's been very clear what his position is in support of the Iranian people.
White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders moments ago, after a 6th day of demonstrations that started over economic concerns in Iran, expanding to criticism of the regime. Fox's Jared Halpern, live in Washington.
UN Ambassador Nikki Haley is calling for the UN Security Council and Human Rights Council to meet about the ongoing protests sweeping across Iran.
The people of Iran are crying out for freedom. All freedom-loving people must stand with their cause.
The Trump administration is also calling on Iran to stop blocking social media sites. President Trump has responded to the protests several times on Twitter, writing earlier today, the U.S. is watching. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Ambassador Haley is also threatening to withhold aid to Pakistan, saying this administration expects far more cooperation in the fight against terrorism. One of the longest-serving members of the U.S. Senate just announcing he won't seek re-election in this year's midterms.
After much prayer and discussion with family and friends, I've decided to retire at the end of this term.
Utah Republican Orrin Hatch says he looks forward to more family time. After 4 decades in the Senate, there have been reports of former presidential hopeful Mitt Romney considering a run for Hatch's seat. The White House spokeswoman says President Trump is willing to work with Democrats on a solution for the so-called Dreamers, immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children.
We've laid out what our principles on immigration reform look like, and that would need to be part of any package that includes DACA.
That's the program the president is ending in March that currently shields the so-called Dreamers from deportation. In a weekend tweet, the president suggesting a border wall has to be included in any DACA deal. Fox News, fair and balanced.
"2018 is an opportunity to grow your business with top talent. But how do you find it? ZipRecruiter.
One click posts your job to over 100 job boards. Then, smart matching technology instantly alerts quality candidates about your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals, go to Abraham.com/50shades. 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 No opt-in required. Sells absolutely nothing. Gives away over 800 hours of priceless strategic marketing and business growth expertise. Videos, audios, full-length best-selling books, interviews of legendary business icons. Abraham.com/50shades. Abraham.com/50shades.
97.1 News Time 2:03. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Church. A big turnout is expected tonight in Wildwood at a public hearing over the future of Hidden Valley Ski Resort and a proposed zipline attraction. The committee will make recommendations to the Wildwood City Council, which could take a final vote at its next meeting on January 22nd. The latest data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention show that the flu is now widespread in Missouri and in Illinois. Urgent care facilities in the area are seeing twice the amount of patients that they normally see. A woman and 3 children were taken to a hospital as a precaution for smoke inhalation after a 2-alarm fire broke out at the Super Inn near Louvier Place Casino at 3rd and Biddle this morning. Their conditions have not been released. Firefighters tell us that the fire was caused by a space heater. While temperatures remain below freezing, Lotto Fever is warming people up to the idea of taking a shot at Mega Millions drawing. Tonight's drawing is worth an estimated $343 million. This news update brought to you by Mattress Direct.
Is your family ready for a bad cold and flu season? Knowing when it's the flu can make a big difference. The best way to tell is that the flu brings a fever, so be prepared with a thermometer you can trust. The Exergen Temporal Scanner, backed by more than 70 clinical studies.
Cold weather tends to make people stop thinking about the outside of their home. At Banner Construction, that's when they begin scheduling their springtime work. So if you're planning an exterior beautification project anytime soon, take advantage of Banner's off-season pricing on the nation's most luxurious siding, James Hardie Fiber Cement Siding. Quality craftsmanship is a must when working with James Hardie products. That's why James Hardie has named Banner Construction an elite preferred remodeler for the past decade. And if you're considering new windows, check out Beechworth Windows. They come from the same renowned James Hardie company. If you've considered any of the big 3, Marvin, Pella, or Anderson, you owe it to yourself to look at Beechworth Windows. They stack up with the best, and you'll be surprised at their affordability. Call Banner Construction today to learn more about how they can help you with these important projects around your home. Call Banner at 314-569-1050 or check them out on the web. And don't forget, have a Banner day.
My son is a handsome young man, like a movie star. There's no limit to what he can do. I don't know why he would ruin himself with alcohol. When I think about the happy boy he used to be and how sad his life is now, it breaks my heart. I love him as much as I ever did, maybe more, but I don't understand why this is happening. My therapist recommended I go to Al-Anon family groups. He said Al-Anon members have lived through the same kinds of things that are happening to my family. I didn't want to go to Al-Anon, and I didn't want anyone to know how difficult it's been. But I'm glad I went. Is someone's drinking breaking your heart? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Ranger Station.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting in the forest. 1 second, I'm having a smoke. Next thing I know, I'm face-to-face with Smokey Bear. Wow. And he told me it only takes 1 spark to start a wildfire.
Did you know 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans?
I had no idea.
That's why Smokey's famous and you're not. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and keep children 3 feet away from anything that gets hot. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov because fire is everyone's fight.
FM News Talk 97.1, The Mark Cox Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
The Mark Cox Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
Listen to both sides.
This
Let's get it on.
Is The Mark Cox Show.
When we moved to cut taxes, the Democrats just walked away from the table because they didn't want people to get more of their hard-earned money.
Steve Scalise taking a little stab at the Democrats over the course of the weekend, so wanted you to hear that. Welcome back into the final hour of the Mark Cox Show today. Hopefully you're staying warm. The problem we've had down here today is some frozen pipes at the radio station. One of the bathrooms down the hall here has been out of commission. I hope I'm not breaking news to my colleague Annie Fry, but there's water dripping on her desk down there. Saw just a minute ago. So they're working on that now, trying to fix it.
Oh my gosh.
It's a bit of a mess everywhere. I'm sure seen a lot of water main breaks and people have been out without water.
Yeah, it was a little icy in my neighborhood this morning.
Liz and I are going to have to bring a space heater into our office up there because it's cold enough that you could hang meat, is what my grandfather would have said about it.
I don't ever wear scarves, and you got me one for Christmas, which was very nice. And I actually had it on this morning, and if you're watching the webcam, you'll see me come into the studio at the top of the hour, and I've got it on because I step outside. And yeah, it's very, very cold. So I was actually wearing it inside this morning, though.
I noticed that.
It's been nice.
It's been cold enough. It's one of those, what do they call it? An infinity scarf?
Infinity scarf.
So it never ends.
And there's several ways to wear it. And so I've been trying out the different styles.
Yeah. You can wear it wrapped around your head.
Yes.
Looking like a goat herder, or you can do any variety of things. Whatever you want to do.
I can have many fashionable styles.
That's true. Well, I'm glad I could help.
We all know how fashionable I am. T-shirts and jeans at all times.
I joke about this, I joke about this, but I told the crew here earlier my wife had a clothing intervention on me.
Yeah.
She took me shopping, and she went off her direction. I went off my direction. We met back up, and I had 2 things in my cart. And she's like, "What'd you get?" Well, I got a shirt, and I got some khakis, some dark khakis, right?
Okay.
Come with me, she says. I'm thinking I'm getting out of there for $50 or $60. Nah. My 2 items went away, and she filled the cart with other stuff.
I like how you've added your style with her style.
With the
today.
AC/DC
yes,
t-shirt.
the AC/DC underneath.
Nice
button down.
I appreciate that. So, little clothing interventions. If you're watching on the Granite Transformation Studio camera, that's what you may notice in the new year.
Yes, it is a nice shirt though.
Along with Church and I shedding weight like you can't believe, right?
Oh yeah.
Because that's your goal, right?
Yeah, it's going to happen.
All right.
Evidently.
We're working on it. That's our goal. We're not calling it a resolution. That's our goal for 2018.
My goal is to lose a couple pounds and not find it.
I just wish that 30 pounds would quit chasing me around because I've lost it a number of times and it just shows back up again. I hate it when that happens. I really do. We are this hour still hoping maybe we get a hold of Catherine Herridge because Catherine is working on this Papadopoulos story out of Australia, questioning whether or not that predated the Trump dossier is the reason the FBI got involved in this thing. And lots of questions lingering about that. So if we get Catherine, we're going to get her on the air here before long, I promise. And in the meantime, what we need to talk about is the fact that we've just had a big tax reform bill passed in Washington, of course. You may not see the results in your paycheck till sometime next month by the time the new withdrawal tables get in. But there's also several bills have been pre-filed for the Missouri legislative session, which starts tomorrow down in Jeff City. Now, obviously, there won't be any votes tomorrow, but they'll gavel things in and kind of get started. So that's what we're going to be talking about now.
We're joined right now by Missouri Senator Bob Onder, who is getting ready for the 2018 legislative session, which, of course, opens up tomorrow. Senator, how are you?
I am doing great, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing well. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, what do you see? What are your, I guess I should start with this. What are your legislative priorities for 2018?
Well, we have a number of things we're working on in my office. I have a bill to fight human trafficking that I carried last year that didn't quite make us cross the line. Labor reform, paycheck protection to protect workers' hard-earned dollars from being used for political purposes without their consent. I think we'll be working on tax reform, especially with tax reform at the federal level. I think there is an appetite on the part of a number of my colleagues, as well as the governor, to achieve meaningful tax reform, including reform of our bloated tax credit system.
Do you think infrastructure spending is going to be a priority this year?
I think it will be, and I think one possibility is doing that as part of broader tax reform. My colleague, Senator Bill Eigel, for instance, has proposed a tax reform bill that would lower the income tax and then to a small degree raise the gas tax for infrastructure repair. By doing that, he would not only be giving Missourians a tax break, but also freeing up more money in our budget for infrastructure and repairing our badly needed repairs on roads and bridges.
Yeah, and I could see the argument there that the people who are using the roads are the ones helping foot the bill to repair them. Is there any concern on your part, given the infrastructure discussion in Washington, that there could be some sort of a national gas tax hike on top of what we might see in Missouri?
Yeah, we never know what's going to happen in Washington D.C., but I really think it does make sense that really our roads, our bridges, our public safety is an important function of state government. And I think freeing up more of our state revenue, which is $27 billion, a record high, more money than has been taken from Missourians than any time in history. That some of that can't be freed up and directed toward our transportation needs, and I think we should do that in Missouri, regardless of what happens out of Washington D.C. But I don't support a separate tax increase. I really do want to see Missouri government live within its means and direct some of the money that state government's already taking from hard-working Missouri taxpayers and direct it toward transportation.
We're talking to Missouri Senator Bob Onder. I heard you mention paycheck protection. I know the unions are opposed to that, as well as the fact that, correct me if I'm wrong, but later this year, in the fall election, it looks like right to work is going to be back on the ballot.
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, the labor unions did acquire signatures to put right to work on hold, which we passed last January. Should have gone into effect in August. We should have been a right to work state in August. That is on hold until next November. But I really do think that just like no one should be forced to join a union or support a union with their hard-earned paycheck dollars without their consent, I don't think their dollars should be used for political purposes without their consent. So paycheck protection is kind of a public sector counterpart to right to work.
Sure. Let me ask about the fact that you've got a Republican governor now. I think there were some pretty high expectations last year with the new governor sworn in for what could get accomplished. By the time the legislative session was over, I walked away from it with the impression that there was a whole lot of infighting, maybe among at least Senate Republicans, in terms of that kind of prevented more from getting done. Do you worry about that this year?
I worry about that a little. I do think there are some Republicans who, for reasons of their own, quite frankly, don't like this governor and want to obstruct things that are on his agenda. I think we did get quite a bit done in a number of areas last year, though. We did get the right to work bill passed, something that we had never done in Missouri history. In fact, the first time either chamber even voted on right to work was when Tim Jones was a speaker just a few years ago, one of our 97.1 friends.
Right.
But the Missouri legislature passed a number of bills to improve our legal climate. The governor's office has reduced regulation. So I think there have been a number of accomplishments. But yeah, it is disappointing when a few senators or a few House members really let personal animosities get in the way of doing the public's business.
Well, Senator Onder, let me ask this question because it weighs on the minds of a lot of folks in St. Louis County, and that is this issue that keeps coming up about a city-county merger, and the discussion that there are some who would like to see the law changed so that this would go to a statewide vote instead of being decided on by the voters here that would be affected by it the most in St. Louis City and County. Do you have any thoughts on that? Have you heard anything about it being on the legislative agenda this year?
Yeah, I don't know, Mark, whether that will be on the legislative agenda. I wouldn't doubt that someone might file a bill, but I personally do not. I believe that St. Louis Countyans and St. Louis Cityans should have the final say in that matter, and I would support that only if there were a separate vote of the city and of the county, both wanting to do the merger. I don't think I don't think it should be a statewide vote.
Well, that's good news. So what is day one like for you down there tomorrow?
Yeah, so day one we gavel in, we begin the legislative session. I'm sure there will be, as you know, there are quite a few bills already pre-filed, but I'm sure there will be more filing bills. But the session gets off to a relatively slow start. The President Pro Tem will begin to refer bills to committee, and then I believe we'll really get to work on hearing bills in committee, beginning that process early next week.
Sounds good. Senator Bob Onder, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck when you get to work tomorrow.
Thank you, Mark. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, sir. Hey, listen, thank you. Have a safe flight.
Very good. And, of course, the senator flying on his way back to St. Louis, in fact, so he can go to work tomorrow. How about that? Good stuff. 314-969-9797. We'll get to some of your phone calls. You have questions about that. Guess what else is going to be in the news? It's probably been in the news already. I know Channel 2's done something on it. The Hidden Valley situation. Been paying attention to that out in Wildwood. The question about the zip line proposal and all that. There's going to be a committee hearing on it tonight, just to sort of looking at what the proposal is, and lots of people have been getting input on that. I expect it's going to probably be a crowded meeting this evening. We'll take your phone calls on that if you got questions about it. 314-969-9797. We're back in just a minute.
The Mark Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com.
Log on to 971talk.com/Allman and you can watch the show live on the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam. Use your mobile device or computer to join the All in the Morning live stream. Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam, 971talk.com/Allman.
Well, start 2018 out on the right foot by calling the folks at Golden Oak Lending, taking advantage of these interest rates while they're still low, because you know it's not a situation that can last forever. And why not start it out with Golden Oak? Because in the last year or so, 50% of their business came from folks who'd done business with them before. So maybe they refinanced once before to a good rate. Now they've got an even better rate. A lot of people put off that phone call because they're not sure if they have enough equity in their home or if they'll save enough money to justify the cost. And here's what the guys at Golden Oak tell me. Don't try to figure that out on your own. Making the phone call doesn't cost you anything, doesn't obligate you to anything. And over the phone, they'll give you basically a free check right over the phone. They're going to give you a free mortgage checkup, so you have nothing to lose. They'll ask you the current rate, the amount of money you owe on your house, all of that great stuff. They probably know more about the equity that you have in your home than you do because they've probably refinanced your neighbor just down the street. They know a lot about St. Louis neighborhoods because they're local. So when you call them at 314-567-GOLD, 314-567-4653, you're talking to somebody right here in St. Louis who knows your neighborhood. Golden Oak Lending never asks for your credit card, so it costs you nothing to talk to them. So give them a call, 314-567-GOLD. Their NMLS number is 114937.
Become the next millionaire with Missouri Lottery's Mega Millions. Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot is an estimated $343 million. The Missouri Lottery reminds you to visit your favorite retailer because you can't win the estimated $343 million Mega Millions jackpot if you don't play.
Savings based on 2-year protection plan compared to T-Mobile premium device protection as of July 12, 2017. Square Trade does not cover lost or stolen items. Terms and conditions apply.
Getting a new phone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So, protecting your phone is a smart idea. But phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $15 every month. Switch to Square Trade phone protection instead for half the cost of insurance through your wireless carrier. And you could save $200 or more. It's like protecting 2 phones for the price of 1. Square Trade covers accidents like drops and spills with easy same-day repair options. Part of the Allstate family, we're trusted by over 30 million customers with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And switching to Square Trade is easy. How else can you save $200 in 10 minutes? So don't wait. Switch today.
Switch to Square Trade now and you can save over $200. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
If Santa wasn't bold enough to bring you what you really wanted, head to Mid-America Arms. From firearms to accessories, you won't find a better selection in Mid-America, including guns, rifles, knives, ammo, holsters, cases, and more. From Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Benelli, Sig Sauer, and others. Ask their no-commission sales assistants about their trade-in policy, transfers, rebates, and info about concealed carry and basic firearms training. Mid-America Arms, 8205 Gravois Road, and at midamericaarms.com. That's midamericaarms.com.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A hospital staff in Orlando, Florida, make today's Dean's List. Jen Thelen woke up to the sound of her 7-year-old daughter, Aubrey, screaming over a horrific tragedy. The family's German Shepherd had mauled the little girl's beloved Elf on a Shelf doll named Sam. And because the rules say the elf on the shelf can never allow humans to touch them, Aubrey didn't know how Sam could be saved. Thankfully, her mom, Jen, is the nurse manager for the emergency department at Arnold Palmer Hospital. The hospital staff said Santa had given them magic gloves that specifically allowed them to touch Sam. Plus, the treatment would be covered by his elf care plan. Aubrey agreed to the operation. The hospital wrote on their Facebook page, one of our ER team members, Ashley, carefully put Sam back together again and bandaged his injuries up. Well done, staff of Arnold Palmer Hospital. Janice Dean, Fox News.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper cars, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It is the year of the rooster.
The year of lies without any evidence.
Year of rooster.
Conspiracy theories.
Year of rooster.
Fake news.
Feels like year of monkey.
Interesting.
Known as year of Sean Hannity.
Sean Hannity.
Shut up.
Weeknights 7 to 9.
On FM News Talk 97.1.
The individual mandate.
Couldn't get a ticket. It was a sold-out show.
You're listening to The Mark Cox Show. Follow the show on Facebook. Facebook.com/The Mark Cox Show.
So in this bill,
He heard one guitar.
We will never accept a nuclear North
have
Korea.
essentially
We consider
repealed
this to be
Obama.
a very reckless regime. We don't think we need a Band-Aid, and we don't think we need to smile and take a picture. We think that we need to have them stop nuclear weapons, and they need to stop it now. So North Korea can talk with anyone they want, but the U.S. is not going to recognize it or acknowledge it until they agree to ban the nuclear weapons that they have.
Wow. So that was Nikki Haley earlier responding to basically the announcement that South Korea has offered to have talks with North Korea about attending the Olympics Games, right? And there were the questions to Sarah Sanders earlier about this as well. What does the U.S. think about this? Does it interrupt your diplomatic efforts when it comes to North Korea? And she said, no, we're not overly worried about that. In fact, so I want to get back to a couple of those questions that Sanders took earlier. Have you paid any attention at all to what's going on in Iran? Go to cut number 15 for me, Liz, with them talking about, not off of here, it'll be off the disc. Cut number 15, talking about what's gone on over in Iran. Listen to this.
We begin this hour with the latest on what's happening in Iran, those massive, often violent protests throughout the country, the most dramatic since the controversial 2009 elections. The AP is reporting that per Iranian state media, 9 more people were killed overnight, several of whom apparently tried to break into a police station to steal weapons. So far, at least 21 protesters have died, along with at least 1 police officer, after what began late last week as small localized rallies against Iran's ongoing economic problems spread to most of the country and morphed to encompass anger at the government and even at the country's religious leaders.
So what's going on in Iran is a little bit confusing, but what you need to understand is that unlike the protests they've had there in the past, this one is not being fueled by a particular political candidate. It's a little bit of an uprising against the way the government is treating the people there, which has the folks over there a little more concerned than normal. Listen to John Bolton explain it in cut number 12 for me, Liz, please.
20 dead is bad enough, but more could be coming. But it's a very different kind of revolution, much more threatening to the Ayatollahs.
Yeah, much more threatening because there's not a political opponent they can go out and murder. That's why it's more threatening. Let's go to Sarah Sanders talking about that. One of the first bites that we've got there, keeping the Iran waiver. You see that one?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think the president's been very clear what his position is in support of the Iranian people. And in terms of what decision he'll make on that waiver, he hasn't made a final one yet, but he's going to keep every option on the table with regard to that.
So there you go. And let's go to the one where they're talking about the president and what he needs Iran to stop doing.
Would he like to see regime change?
I mean, I think the ultimate end game would be that the citizens and the people of Iran are actually given basic human rights, and he'd certainly like to see them stop being a state sponsor of terror. I think that's something the whole world would like to see.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any doubt about that. Benjamin Netanyahu loves what's going on over there. Go to cut number 16 that we had from earlier. The Prime Minister of Israel talking about the protests that are going on, the unfortunate fact that the government's chosen to kill these people because they've stood up and spoken their mind. Listen.
The Iranian people are smart. They're sophisticated. They are proud. Today they risk everything for freedom. Sadly, many European governments watch in silence as heroic young Iranians are beaten in the streets. That's just not right. And I, for one, will not stay silent. This regime tries desperately to sow hate between us, but they won't succeed. And when this regime finally falls, and one day it will, Iranians and Israelis will be great friends once again. I wish the Iranian people success in their noble quest for freedom.
So the president kind of keeping this on the table. I was glad to see that. He's never backed away from the fact that he thought the nuclear deal was a negative one. And he's already pointed out again in his first few tweets of the year that some of the cash, remember the pallet of cash that we delivered to them? Some of the cash has probably already been turned over to a number of terrorists throughout the world. You know, whether it's what's going on in Iran or what's going on in Pakistan, you finally got a president who's willing to stand up and call it the way it is. And that's refreshing. This is what people voted for. I know the people on the left still don't get this because I monitor them. I listen to them on the other outlets, the MSNBCs, the CNBCs, the CNN. They still don't understand what it was about Trump, the candidate, that appealed to people who have normally voted. They were, blue-collar Democrats, so to speak, in the last few election cycles. What they saw was somebody who spoke to them when it came to the economy and who spoke common sense when it came to things like immigration and the way we've bowed to our enemies around the world. Donald Trump doesn't do that. And I particularly on Pakistan, if you missed this earlier, the former Pakistani ambassador, the former Pakistan ambassador to the United States basically came out and said, he's right. He's right to stand up and say, we've given millions of dollars to a Pakistani government that doesn't support us and who harbored Osama bin Laden for a period of time. No one's had the guts to say that. And I'm glad to finally see this president be the one to stand up to him. Let me get back to the Sanders bites again, Liz, and the one where he's discussing the change in leadership in Iran. Find it? That's all right.
The president said it's time for change in Iran. Did he mean in leadership or in policy or both?
I think the biggest thing is the change would be that the people of Iran have basic human rights, which their government is frankly not allowing them to have at this time, and certainly in large part stop being a state sponsor of terrorism. I mean, I think those are the changes we're looking for. If they want to do that through current leadership, if that's possible, okay, but those are our priorities, is making sure that those principles are met.
Good for her. And finally, one other thing that we didn't get a chance to carry live earlier when she was on was talking about the upcoming budget deal. We talked a lot about what 2018 means legislatively, what we would like to see. You know that they kicked the can down the road with this continuing resolution to fund the government through the new year, through the beginning of the new year. Now they've got to go back to the table and start talking about the budget. And the administration is pushing for a 2-year deal. So we're not having to come back to this over and over and over again. Go ahead and hit it.
Obviously, the budget is first and foremost one of the biggest priorities right now, and certainly the big priority in the immediate term. The president wants a 2-year budget deal that provides realistic budget caps and provides certainty for our national security. That's our biggest and number one priority, and that'll be the focus front and center of the conversations that are taking place this week. And then beyond that, it will be talking about those 4 other priorities that I outlined and what the strategy to get maximum success on those would look like.
All right. Yeah, that would be nice. I would be a little surprised if they can strike a deal like that, but I guess it depends on how much this president's willing to negotiate. And that may be more then a lot of conservatives would like him to negotiate, I suspect. It may not be very palatable when it comes out of the negotiation. Just a guess on my part. 314-969-9797, 866-455-9797. I want to get some of your phone calls when we come back. I mentioned this earlier, but tonight there's going to be a Parks and Planning Committee meeting in Wildwood. It's basically going to be discussing the proposal at Hidden Valley, where they want to put the zip lines in out there. A lot of people that live immediately around that facility are very upset, and they've been flooding City Hall with emails complaining about the fact that they shouldn't cave in to the owner at Hidden Valley, and I guess some of them think that they'd be better off with homes in there than a ski resort. That's part of what's going to be debated. If you have any thoughts on it, I'd be happy to get to your phone calls, 314-969-9797. Just a reminder about our Twitter poll that's up right now as well. At Mark Cox 971, at Tony Colombo 971. What do you want to see as the president's top agenda item this year for 2018? What is it you're hoping that they're going to do in this new year? Build the wall, deal with North Korea, repeal Obamacare, or continue to work on the economy. So get on there, vote, retweet it, and we'll talk more with Tony Colombo about this. We'll have the results for you in this hour tomorrow. We'll get to your phone calls right after this.
This is the Mark Cox Show. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Plenty of sunshine on this back-to-work Tuesday. The holiday is over, but the cold continues. 16 for the high tonight. Partly cloudy skies, very cold, but not as cold. 10 degrees Wednesday. Plenty of sunshine and 22. Keep this cold pumping into Saturday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
Family owned and operated since 1972, Lakeside Roofing is celebrating 45 years in the roofing industry and would like to thank you for your support over the years. They specialize in all types of commercial and residential roofing and ensure quality and professionalism. Lakeside offers expert installation and maintenance along with inspection services to fix and prevent problems before they occur. Call 618-344-2800 in Illinois or 314-241-5253 in Missouri to speak to a roofing expert today. For more information, visit lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience. Choose Lakeside.
Winter has arrived and it's time for some hockey heat.
Now to Steen, one-timer right on, rebound, score!
The St. Louis Blues deliver both on Tuesday, January 9th against the Florida Panthers.
Another save by Huntman and the glove on it!
It's Fleece Blanket Night, courtesy of Ameren, Missouri, and the first 12,000 fans through the gate get a free big fleece blanket featuring hockey's greatest logo, the Blue Note.
Shot, score!
Fleece Blanket Night, January 9th at Scott Trade Center. For tickets, go to stlouisblues.com/promotions.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. With fixed rates in the 3s, we have some of the lowest mortgage rates in town. But what I want to talk to you about is how we can help you eliminate PMI. If you know what that is, you know you don't want it. So have us eliminate PMI from your current loan. Or, if you're buying a home, we can help you avoid PMI in your payment altogether. A great rate and no PMI is possible. Call me, Michael Mohan, at 314-336-6050. Because we are local, we know St. Louis. But most importantly, we will take the time to get to know you. Call us for straightforward answers to all your mortgage needs. Already working with a lender on your refinance or purchase? Bring me the quote, and chances are we will beat it. The phone call is free, but the savings could be life-changing. 314-336-6050. That's 314-336-6050. Online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, APRs in the 3s. NMLS 250353224143.
So what does it feel like to get the greatest haircut on earth at Lady Jane's in Brentwood, Oral Fallon?
What does a soothing shampoo, scalp massage, and a hot lather neck shave feel like? Well, you know when the stud running back on your fantasy team tweaks his knee and all you have left is a third stringer? Then out of nowhere, he goes off for 200 yards and 3 scores? That's what it feels like to get the greatest haircut on earth at Lady Jane's in O'Fallon on Highway K just north of Fisey Road next to Potbelly Subs, or in Brentwood on Hanley Road just south of Highway 40 in front of Menards. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
40 years of savings, 40 holidays, 40 block parties, 40 barbecues, banquets, and blowouts. For 40 years, we've saved you a lot. From a lot of hassles and a lot of gimmicks. Because saving is easy when saving is simple. So how much can you save in 40 years? It's right there on the sign. Save a lot. Savings made easy for 40 years.
Now at Save-A-Lot, save even more on tons of products throughout the store. Just look for the items marked new lower price and get yourself some savings.
Jamie Allman in the morning.
Randy Tobler here. Jamie and the whole team are back. Tune in with me as we listen to more Allman in the Morning and a great 2018.
On FM News Talk
97.1. You're listening to The Mark Cox Show. Follow Mark on Twitter at MarkCox971.
Does he believe the entire Justice Department and its more than 100,000 employees are part of this deep state?
Obviously, he doesn't believe the entire Justice Department is part of that. You know, one of the things that the president has done is appoint Christopher Wray at the FBI because he wants to change the culture of that agency, and he thinks he's the right person to do that.
There you have it. Sarah Sanders responding to, the president talking about the DOJ and why they haven't done more to act on this FBI investigation of the Clinton emails and some of the stuff they found on Huma Abedin's laptop. So it's a fair question, and I think she handled it well. He doesn't think everybody is, but it's obvious. I mean, think about this. If we hadn't gotten our hands on the those tweets, those text messages between this Peter Strzok and his girlfriend, if we hadn't gotten our hands on those, we wouldn't even really know that there were discussions at high levels at the FBI about an insurance policy. That doesn't mean I know a lot of FBI agents. They're good people. They're law enforcement officers. It's what they do. They're not the ones making decisions at the top of the agency with some political axe to grind. So I don't think he's ever suggested that. But we do know that there are some problems there. And I'm glad to see them addressing it. It's beyond time for that to be addressed. I didn't get a chance to get her on today. We're going to keep trying this week because obviously it must have been a busy day for him. But Catherine Herridge has been dealing with this sort of breaking news story on this Papadopoulos character, one of the low-level Trump folks who, got caught up in this Mueller investigation and was accused of lying about an email or somebody he talked to or something. If you missed Catherine's report on this, just listen to part of it. Australian media is reporting on this with the indication that it might have been something Papadopoulos said about Hillary Clinton that sparked this push for an investigation into Trump and Russia. Listen.
Australian media is reporting that there is anger and frustration over leaks by U.S. officials revealing an Australian diplomat steered intelligence that may have kick-started the FBI's Russia probe. According to the Sydney Morning Herald, the Australian ambassador to the U.S. personally steered Australia's dealings with the FBI during the 2016 campaign after a meeting earlier that year involving a senior Australian official and a Trump campaign aide. As you mentioned, the New York Times first reported a May 2016 meeting between campaign aide George Papadopoulos and an Australian diplomat may have kick-started the FBI Russia case. Papadopoulos told the diplomat during a meeting in London the Russians had damaging information on Hillary Clinton. 2 months later, in the summer of 2016, when WikiLeaks began releasing hacked DNC emails, the Australian ambassador flagged the incident with Papadopoulos to U.S. intelligence. This morning on America's Newsroom, a senior Republican said the reporting about Papadopoulos is a distraction, and the real scandal is the FBI's reliance on the unverified Trump dossier.
So that's part of Catherine's reporting on this. She went on to point out that this week, and I think this is important, there's a deadline that's been set up for the State Department to produce documents that get back to that old Whitewater question. What did they know, and when did they know it on the Trump dossier? What role did the Trump dossier play in the Trump investigation, the Trump-Russia collusion investigation? Did the FBI or the Department of Justice spur or pay for the initial parts of that, and then the Democrats picked it up and ran with it? We don't know. But they're supposed to release some information on this tomorrow, which is long over. It's a shame that it took a deadline of some sort and action by a congressional committee to get that information out of them. It's not something that they offered up in testimony. They're bound to know the answer to it. There's just no doubt about that. Damon, Happy New Year to you. Thanks for calling the program.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you, too. I kind of find it odd that you all aren't saying that this is anti-police or anti-law enforcement when the President of the United States and Republicans are going after FBI agents.
You all?
You included.
Why would you think that?
Because of your comments that you've been making.
So James Comey, is
and
the
other FBI agents.
No, well, James Comey was the head of the FBI.
So,
Peter Strzok was the key FBI investigator in three major stories
against them. So I'm assuming that you must not like police officers.
Why would you say that? I have plenty of the greatest respect for police officers.
Okay,
and I pointed out just a minute ago, Damon, that it has nothing to do with
that Black Lives Matter is anti-police.
No, it has nothing to do with the FBI agents on the street here in St. Louis, a number of whom I know personally, has nothing to do with them. They're not the ones making political decisions in Washington, D.C.
Okay, so the same thing that I like that you say about that, I say about Black Lives Matter, but Black Lives Matter is pinned as not as being anti-police. But we've never said that all police were bad.
What have you said then? Why don't you phrase it for me?
We're saying that there is police brutality and it needs to be addressed. That unarmed African American males in particular are being murdered with no justification.
But the statistics don't back that up. Is the problem?
No, the statistics does back that up. The DOJ said that Ferguson was rife with racism. The DOJ said that.
Yeah. The DOJ, the Obama administration DOJ drew that conclusion. I would be happy for you to get on here and have that conversation with James Knowles or maybe former Chief Jackson, who ran the department up there.
I don't need to. The DOJ said that they were rife with racism.
But whether they said they were rife with racism or not, they didn't believe the police officer who killed Michael Brown did anything wrong.
Okay,
so what do the two have to do with each other?
I'll go there with you. But still, the police was wrought with racism. Are we saying that all police officers are racist? No. But that's what we're pinned with.
But you're saying the entire Ferguson Police Department was racist?
No. The DOJ said that the police department was rife with racism.
Did it say all of them were racist?
Go ahead.
Did it say all of them were racist?
No, it didn't. But it said from the top down, racism was rampant throughout the Ferguson Police Department. So my point again is that Black Lives Matter never once said all police officers were bad. We're saying that the police officers that are out here killing unarmed African American males in particular, without any justification, without any legal ramifications being brought upon the officers, is wrong. That's
but Damon, here's
police officers were bad.
But here's where the disagreement gets down to. If a police officer, whether he's black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever he happens to be, shoots and kills an unarmed individual, and they're found guilty of that in a court of law, I am perfectly happy to agree with you that they deserve whatever punishment they get. But you've handpicked. But Black Lives Matters handpicks cases like the Stockley case or the Michael Brown case as examples, and those are not the poster children for the problem.
They're not the poster children for you. For us, you don't dictate to us what we consider to be poster relevant or not.
But those don't fit the parameters.
But they do fit.
But they don't, because those officers were not found to have done anything wrong in the eyes of the law, in the eyes of the eyes of the Obama Department of Justice, who investigated both cases and found no civil rights violations, in the eyes of the circuit attorney, not found to have done anything wrong.
Okay, and again, still, you outside of the one where the police officer shot him clearly in the back, when has the other officers gotten punished for killing someone under their watch?
Well, wasn't there just an officer in Oklahoma?
In Baltimore, they were acquitted.
Yeah, but come on, the Freddie Gray. You want to bring up the Freddie Gray case?
Her killer was acquitted.
You want to bring up the Freddie Gray case?
I did.
Yeah, but she overcharged in that case. Everybody said it when she charged it. She charged them for political purposes, and even
according to you.
Damon, we're going to have a fun 2018. I appreciate the phone call. We're going to keep going in circles over this. I don't see where he's coming from on that. Freddie Gray case, bad example. Michael Brown case, bad example. The Jason Stockley case down here, bad example. Those are all not examples of people being gunned down in cold blood. They're just not. You can't make that argument. The FBI statistics don't back it up that's a problem. They just don't. Tony Colombo is in the studio with me. How are you, my friend?
I am well. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Glad you had a good one.
Back at you.
Yeah. We've spent, obviously, the day or two before the new year, and today, again, more today looking forward than back.
Yes.
At kind of what legislatively we hope as conservatives that we can get done this year with however slim a majority we have in Washington.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And that's the focus of the Twitter poll today. At Tony Colombo 971 or at Mark Cox 971. Go on Twitter and vote if you haven't already. We're off to another great start. We had a fantastic Twitter poll last week, and we're off to another big start this week. We want to know, as we start 2018, which of the following would you most like Donald Trump do this year? And the four options you have are repeal Obamacare, build the wall, end the North Korean conflict, or continue to grow the economy. It's been up for a little more than an hour, and we're already at 200 votes. So that's off to a great start.
Retweeted.
Yeah.
Somebody wanted to know why we didn't have all the above.
Because you know what? If I could, I would have put at least two other options. But right. Twitter, it limits you to four choices, so we felt like those were four big ones, and they all needed to be represented.
And the one with in the North Korea situation, I mean, that could go a number of ways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's open ended on purpose.
Yeah, you don't want that to end in conflict, which we hope it doesn't. But you're just dealing with a numbskull there.
Absolutely. So go and vote, and we'll have the results tomorrow. Big thanks to Hair Saloon for Men, starting another year with them sponsoring the Twitter poll. So that's fantastic.
Good. And the DGS coming up, and the Glover's back.
The gang is back together today. Mark and Dave are both back, and Rachel and I are here. So tune in. We'll have it's going to be a fun show.
All right. Looking forward to it. Tony, thank you. Happy New Year to you and the crew.
Yes,
hey, folks,
sir.
stick around. Glover's up right after the news. We'll see you back here tomorrow noon to 3.